day.
TGIF. Welcome, everybody, to Have No Sphere. Right here on the Iron Realm Media YouTube channel. My name is Josh Corey, and we have a kick-ass relaxing show in store for you today. I don't think we have a whole bunch of anything planned. Just going to be hanging out. Last I heard, I think we will have an update from Douglas Falk, author of The Voyage, the Flat Earth novel, a copy of which I received in the mail today. Thank you so much, Douglas. I know Adam had received his, Walt received his, and I felt like an odd man out, anxiously checking my mailbox every day when I get home from work, only to find it lacking my copy of The Voyage. But today, just a few moments ago, when I rolled into the driveway and checked, there it was. Walter said his packaging was a little bit worse for the wear, and I saw what he was talking about because mine was too. It was all but falling out of the packaging, but the book itself was in great shape. So I'm super excited to dive in to chapters 3 onward. Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I think it's really, really exciting. I think
I
it's
checked
cool.
like 5 times today.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing. Nope. We'll see. It'll be here tomorrow.
And you
Good
are
faith.
Good Times for All, or Zachary Zabala, if you prefer. Hi, Zach. How's your week been?
Hey, Josh. Not too bad. Getting ready for the carpet to be put in. We had everything painted last weekend and all that good stuff. And the carpet guys walked in. They looked, man, I wouldn't have let these guys mow my lawn, really.
No, a little
No.
shady, were they?
Yeah, a little shady. They walked in, looked around, and said, "Hey, we're going to go to the store."
What?
Yeah, after they were like an hour late already. Like it was between 8 to 10 they were supposed to show up, and it was like 10 something when they showed up. 10, I don't know, 10:25, 10:30, something like that. Walked in for like 2 minutes and then said, "Hey, we're going to the store," and then went back to their shop and said that we didn't have anything ready for them. And oh man, they heard about it. We'll just say that their bosses heard about it, and we're getting a new crew coming out tomorrow. So hopefully, but yeah, I mean, when you have everything moved into the bathrooms, and we had like all the furniture we could get out of there, and the stuff that was Cammy could move all the rest of the stuff herself. And she's like 90 pounds, wet.
Soaking wet, right?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, these guys didn't want to work. It was Friday. I don't know. But yeah, besides that, it was a good week. I'm ready for this weather to break though, man. They're setting records here in Denver for hottest days in September.
Dang.
Yeah, it's been warm. It's still been up in the 90s. I think today was actually only like 88. So it cooled off a little bit.
That's about where we were too. Today, it'll drop down to 60s tonight. Have a little cool front pull through. Shouldn't be quite so hot tomorrow, which is good because I'm about 3 weeks behind on my grass cutting.
Yeah, I'm ready to get going here. I'm ready for tonight. Hanging with the boys.
Me too. I think it's going to be fun. How about we jump in there and say hello to Rob down in Australia? Rob, I just saw an article in the news about a lady who got killed by a rooster in Australia. The hell are you doing to your chickens in Australia,
Yeah,
Rob?
well, they grow pretty big, I must say. Yeah, 10, 12 foot tall. AK-47s on their wings, and gotta watch those roosters.
Huh. I was told that Australians weren't known for their large cocks.
Oh,
Have it.
some of us are better than others, I'm assuming. How was everyone?
We're all doing good. How about you? How you been? How's work going?
Yeah, busy. Yeah. Busy as normal. Nah, the only thing interesting I saw this morning was Mick West. We all know Mick West. I I'm not sure. I'm not sure how old the video is. Only posted the other day, but Mick West was he was analogy of the buildings falling, 9/11 buildings falling to a zipper. He reckons if you pull a zipper down, you've got the outer part. Well, it all locks in together, and as you pull it, it all falls apart. It all falls apart as you pull the zipper down, and that's how the buildings fell.
Right, sure.
Just Christ Almighty! I tried nearly jump through my bloody computer screen.
I hope nobody let him get away with that crap.
Nah, of course they did. Of course they did.
That's
I only
great.
just saw it this morning, so he's a know-it-all, then he knows everything. Knows everything about everything. But yeah. So now, looking forward to the show. Be good.
Yeah, I think so. So let's see who else we got. Let's talk to, well, the one who's been quiet this past week, just stewing silently, Mr. John Savage. John, how are you?
Not too bad, I lie. Doing really good. Not another shocking week, but yeah, slight upturn today. I think I'm making a little bit of headway as I've decided to just sack everyone and project manage the whole thing myself. So yeah, it's getting cold here. It's 15 degrees. I don't know what that is in your speak, but it's getting nippy, and this fire is going to get lit shortly, so we better get our paperwork sorted or all hell is going to break loose. But yeah, I even phoned a solicitor today, so things are getting real. But
must be getting real if John's calling us.
Yeah, tell me about it. Exactly. So yeah, we shall see. But other than that, I haven't had a single moment to do much else other than vaguely trying to watch the UK Globeli tour, which is just strangely addictive, and it's like watching a car crash and sometimes, but yeah, it's very addictive. So yeah, I think we're going to talk about that later. So onwards and upwards, definitely.
Awesome. We'll head on over to how about the trifecta of crime to round out for the Ironworks over there on Truth Frequency Radio. One Mr. Walter Johnson. Walt, how is the rest of your day? How's your mom doing? How's everything going in Oregon? How you feeling?
So far, she's good. So far, everything, is still on upswing and improving, and therapy's getting her health and strength back. So that's a plus.
You want a nice camera today, Walt.
Well, I moved things around, so apparently I don't have as much clutter behind me distracting you. That's probably what it is.
I think it's a better camera than what you have on your computer at home.
Oh man, don't tell me that.
I'm pretty sure.
So Rob, real quick, did anyone ask Mick how that whole zipper thing works when the building doesn't fall like that? I'm like that. Wait, like that? I don't know. And then here's the other thing about that zipper analogy. When you let your zipper down, your mate down the block, his zipper doesn't fall too, does it? I'm just trying to work this shit out. We do, sciencing.
I don't know, Walt. He's full of shit. We know he's full of shit.
Fucking wanker. I know, trust me. Well, real quick, before we get too lost in this show that we're going to have with a guest that I actually see already in chat, a real quick shout out to an Iron Warrior hanging out with us over there in the mornings and here today. Birthday boy Brian in the house. What's up, Brian? Glad you're here, mate.
HBDB, which is the message I sent him on Facebook.
Glad to have you there, my friend.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And everyone in chat. I don't want to start going through the list again. I tried to hit you all in chat real quick before I started talking.
Happy unbirthday to all of you.
For sure. Happy V-Day. That's what I say. Happy V-Day.
Very unbirthday to you. To who? To me. To you.
Every time.
Every time.
Happy hearsay day.
It's just what I was told. I don't remember.
Happy Corporation Foundation Day.
Although I have spoken to people that say they remember being born.
Well, that's Alex.
Now, another side note that I'm seeing in chat that I have been, look, I'm out of touch here in Oregon, as everyone should know from last week's show when I was less than present till the end. I keep seeing there's some hints about a recent video that Riley has out there that apparently I need to see. Is that something we can have popped up on the screen? Because he just won't let it go. I want to see this thing, man. Damn it.
I love how you
Should
move your
explain
head
more
back and
better.
forth when you talk. Well,
It's the lines behind me, man. They're making me peak and I can't handle it.
So, last but never, ever least in our hearts, Mr. Adam Meakin. Back home, back to the grind, back hard at it. How goes everything with you, Adam?
All grand at this end, mate. Feeling a lot better last week, a little bit peaky last week. So apologies to everyone for my sliding away. Yeah, busy week, mate. Busy week. Loads I want to discuss. I won't summarise now. Just one thing. Douglas Falk's book. Mine came resealed by Royal Mail in a see-through plastic bag with the wrapping falling apart inside the bag as well. So, yeah.
It's a long way across the plane from where he lives to where we all live, maybe. That could be what it is.
I think the wrapping did not stand up to being thrown across a dispatch lounge. So
Is it possible that they went through the same delivery system that Josh's computer went through? Again, that might be part of it.
having the shit kicked out of it method of delivery.
I've heard about this Douglas Fox fucker. Let's stomp that shit good before we.
Have
I'm
we
seeing Jim
sent-
Carrey delivering the package at the beginning.
Have you read that yet,
Condolences,
Josh? Have you finished reading it?
I just took it out of the mailbox about an hour ago.
Yeah, well, that's plenty of time.
I'll tell you this: I've read the prologue and the first 2 chapters.
Yeah.
Does that count?
I've got my copy here next to me, Rob, right now. I've not read any more. I've done the same as Josh. Prologue and the first 2 chapters, which is available online, and enough to get you hooked. And now I was going to try and force some in, just can I read a chapter? But I'm going to give it the time it deserves. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to drop in the link now, yeah?
Yeah, drop it in and then.
If I had known things were going to work out the way they have, I would have sent it here where I'm currently residing. So I'm anxious to get home to see it and read it. I don't have it here.
Okay, link dropped. Whenever you're ready there, Douglas.
Hey, thanks for that, John. Thanks for taking care of that for me. I'm too busy wrapped up in the book, looking at all the watermarks on the chapter pages.
Cool.
Just barely make them out. Just behind you.
Yeah, I got the word from home that because when they got home, she was like, "What is this traggle package book? Obviously, with your name on it written. What is this weird stamp from somewhere else? The whole 9 yards." So she had to look at it, and she said, "Yeah, it's an amazingly well put together book." So again, I'm excited to get home to check it out.
Yeah, even some nice, an occasional illustration here and there. I like picture books.
Show the cover, Josh. Nice.
Right there. The Voyage by Douglas Falk.
Hello, me.
There he is. There's Douglas now.
Douglas,
Hello, Douglas.
welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
So-
you. First off, thank you off the bat. It's been an amazing time knowing you, and you've been a very generous man. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for those kind words. And seeing that copy in Josh's hand is surreal, to say the least.
I bet it is. I bet it's really surreal to see that halfway around the plane in somebody else's hand.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this whole thing in my head for 2 years. So to finally see it in physical form, it's hard to describe, really.
Well,
It really is
just to
surreal.
say thank you for my copy, Douglas, before we go past that. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Thanks, man.
I've been sending out copies like crazy the past week. So pretty much everyone in the flat Earth community. Oh, of course, I've forgotten a few. There are so many. But almost everyone that I've reached out to has a copy coming their way, or they already have it.
That is very cool. Welcome,
Yeah.
Douglas. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
And I finally got in touch with some of the people that I've written to, and they finally wrote back, like Nathan Thompson, who said that he would speak to Robbie Davidson on my behalf, who I also tried to get in touch with, but he's apparently very busy at the moment with the conference.
yeah, it's a busy time of year, definitely. But yeah, they're good people to speak to.
Yeah, because I think he will really like it, because I listened to his latest like radio podcast or whatever. I don't actually listen to his content all that often, but I did click this one, and he spoke in great length about the lack of a like Hollywood movie story with a flat Earth premise, and I was like, that could be my story. I mean, it's a book, but potentially, if you know.
Well, we've got some talented filmmakers in Flat Earth as
Yeah,
well.
like I said to Rob, I wrote to him a few times on Twitter, like if they would allow it to be filmed. That is the question, right?
What you mean,
Real
like
quick,
going
Doug,
down?
I don't have mine in hand still, but there's the package and the
Wow.
address blacked out and the picture that it was sent to me from home. So it's there. It's there.
It's there. Wow. Oh, cool.
Josh, we did want to pimp the book a little bit, and I don't know if I'd picked a little section, other than noticing, and I'm gonna still start a little count actually, Douglas, because what I did notice from the first 2 bits and a half that I read was that the naming of drinks is quite interesting in this book. So I want to see if it continues throughout, whether it's whiskies or whatever. So it did seem quite informed in its alcohol knowledge, is what I would say.
Okay, well,
we're in the north, Adam. We're in the north. Who doesn't drink up here?
What, we don't drink in the south?
I is the beholder.
It's
That's all I'm saying.
probably
That's all I'm
illegal
saying.
now.
Adam, I think you're onto something. I went a bit overboard with that. It's you know, when you've worked on a story for this long, you kind of forget about some things, and that was one of them. I was like, when I reread it, why did I shower? Why did I, bombard the reader with all these drink names and whatever?
I thought it was quality, the detail of the knowledge of the drinks. I thought it was quite endearing. It was another thing that pulled me. Josh, have you got something you wanted to read, or shall I? There's a little bit that I just really liked when I was just settling in, and I thought, oh yeah, I want to.
I didn't have anything specific. If you had something specific that you wanted, yeah, totally.
It's only a couple of paragraphs, but it's the bit where basically the deed is being done. He's telling him, I'm a flat earther, so I'll just read it and excuse my narration. John slid his fingers gently on the rim of the empty whiskey glass in front of him, feeling numb. All around them, the noise had become even worse as the company next to them had extended into a large crowd, and 2 hefty middle-aged women chipping away alongside with the couple. Jesus Christ, my friend has become one of those people. John had half-heartedly followed the rise of the bizarre underground movement in the peripheries of the dark and obscure corners of the internet. The types of website and videos I watch now and then on the board nights, sometimes between 2 and 4 a.m. John stroked his long golden hair back and pondered. A flat earther. What is going on with the world? Fewer than 4 years ago, a worn-out reality star in his early 70s had been elected president of the United States. And about the same time, this theory began stirring in the fringes of society. The renaissance of a theory more hated and ridiculed than anything else in this world suddenly made a sensational comeback on the world stage, and after being dead and buried for nearly 500 years. What's next? Flying unicorns, dogs and cats living together in perpetual harmony? And I just thought that was quite cool, because I thought this guy's on the same wavelength as me. And it is rammed, those first early bits, but I thought that bit's quite a nice little teaser, and shows the writer's informed and on the same level as me. And like I said, I'm really looking forward, Douglas, to getting into it.
Yeah, thank for the reading session. Maybe you should step in instead of Josh, who was supposed to be, the reader.
You don't want my dulcet tones, pal.
Okay.
That took 3/4 of a bottle of wine to get the courage to do that.
I'm not sure how many characters are going to be throughout the entire book, but we do have a team of talented voice actors right here at Iron Realm, so we could set up a whole playhouse and have character actors for you. I have some ideas here.
Yeah.
Well, that was something that probably needed to be discussed. If you wanted just a narration of the book, how you wanted to exactly go about that with the internal dialogue versus the external dialogue with the characters.
For internal, you put a little reverb on it, make it sound a little different. No, I'm just messing.
Well, and that's sort of where this is leading. Basically, for voiceover work, one of the main rules in doing voiceover work is you never, ever, ever edit your own work. So I can totally read it, but I think anybody could read it. It's all going to be a matter of the editing. But I think I've got a few people in mind that I think that would be willing to do it, or at least lend a hand and help point me in the right direction. So if it's something you're still amenable to, we can still look at it and go with it. But I do kind of like Walt's idea, the idea of making it more of a dramatic reading as opposed to a simple narration.
Yeah, or you could perform a play or something.
Exactly, almost like an old time
radio style. Exactly. I grew up on that stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do sound effects.
John can be our Foley. You have to get some coconuts for the hoofs.
Hey, John, could you do that sound again? That sounded like a cold wind blowing through Antarctica.
Nah, that was tumbleweed in our pregnant pauses, don't worry.
Oh, nice.
He's had much practice, right? You beat me, John.
So big moves happening in your life then, Douglas. What have you...
Yeah, well, first of all, you persuaded me to go to Amsterdam, so that's where I'm headed in just 3 weeks.
Oh God, don't blame me.
Yes? No. I literally, I wouldn't have thought about it if you wouldn't have brought it up.
I'm glad you're coming, mate. I'll be there. My flight has been booked this week, so look forward to seeing.
I mean, it's super close to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Compared to, like, say, if we went to Dallas. Dallas is a 14-hour flight for me, so yeah, that's quite something. But this is like 2 hours or less, so yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
so for Melanie, it's just over an hour.
And yeah, I will be going there as a regular paying customer. I spoke to Dee Dee, one of the hosts, and yeah, she said like, yeah, we'll find a table for you to set up shop, and so you can sell a few books if you pay for a ticket, which I did. So yeah. I have no idea how the logistics are going to be. I've never been at a conference like this before. So
you've never been to Amsterdam before, have you?
No, never.
You're going to love it.
Been to Belgium, but this is quite different.
All I'll say, Douglas, is it's going to get messy in the evenings.
In the evenings and the day,
Well, a little bit dribbly in the day as well. Fair enough.
in the early mornings. No, I think you'll have a great time. I think you should sell quite a few books as well, because there's seems to be a really good bunch turning up.
Yeah, I think it'll be like 80 or 100 or something. Didi's mentioned something in that ballpark, so I'll bring a few. It'll be fun, I'm sure. And in just a few days from now, Mark Sargent will be coming here. So I'll try to ambush him and hand him
To Sweden, do you mean?
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know that. Wow, that's pretty good timing.
Yeah, he's speaking at some kind of a conference. It's not a flat Earth conference. It's some kind of a general question everything conference, I suppose.
Right, I think I do remember him mentioning so. I didn't realise it was Sweden, so yeah, that'd be cool.
Are you linking up with him, Douglas?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I wrote to him like a month ago, and he said that maybe if he has the time, because he's apparently flying straight back to the UK after this. So I suppose I'll have to stalk him.
That's it. Hunt him down.
Yeah, it'll have to be some Magnum PI.
Just set up outside his conference room with their little table and your books.
Just follow the
I'm sure
cameras.
it's all to you. Yeah.
Follow the cameras and the paparazzi, and you'll find him at the end of it.
Yeah.
But other changes in your life, Douglas. You quit your job, haven't you?
Yeah. But that was a long time coming, though. So sometimes you just have to take some bold decisions when you're unhappy with it. And for now, I want to focus on this full time.
Brilliant, brave decision, but one I've been in myself. So I admire you taking the leap of faith.
Yeah, I mean, it's 3 months left to the official release, so it's a long time. But the early signs that I've gotten indicates that this will definitely it will be like a full-time job. I think it will be. Of course, I'm hoping that it will be a big success and that everyone will like it. But yeah, it will be a lot of work. Did I mention the guy that called me up a week ago?
You did to me, but tell everyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting mails now daily. Not so much calls, except for one. In the early morning, out of nowhere, I was phoned up by someone, a Swedish flat earther from Stockholm as well, and he was like ranting and raving for almost an hour, spouting off all kinds of things, and basically he was trying to persuade me into becoming some kind of a flat earth messiah of sorts. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've written this thing, and now I should sort of lead the charge or something. He was trying to assign me a role, and I was like, I can't do that. I'm just a writer for now.
But it was trying to get you to say that you're a full-on flat earther, aren't you? And you're not comfortable.
Not just that. He was trying to. Yeah, he was trying to like. Assign me some kind of a savior role, and he mentioned that this whole thing is it's tiny in Sweden, this whole movement, so you need to step up. And I just honestly said that that's not something that I'm going to do right now, because I would have to be fully on board with the whole thing. And for now, all I will do is to keep writing and do my thing.
And I mean, just the fact that you've written a book about the subject doesn't in any way mean that you're a full-on flat earther. I mean, there's a lot of flat earthers out there who are still undecided. Some of them have been here from the start, and they're still undecided and things. But no, I think you're right to stick to your guns and just.
Yeah, I've always been straight to that point that I am undecided. Even though my book is 100%, pro flat Earth. It will probably be labeled as flat Earth propaganda by the mainstream critics, I suppose.
Yeah, well, excellent. That's what it is. It's trying to inform people that things are not as they seem.
Yeah, well, and I'm also trying to entertain and thrill and think of how unclimactic it would be if I built up this huge conspiracy and that there is something in Antarctica and they go there and prove the globe. How lame would that be?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be buying the book.
Yeah, that would be maybe a comedy or something. I don't know.
Tragedy, yeah. I think tragedy.
So that's sort of a thing that I noticed that okay, maybe I will get a lot of these calls in the future when the book is actually released.
Yeah, yeah, you do actually have your phone number on the website, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I still advise you to direct that to an answer phone.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Or an AI.
I'm looking forward to the whole Amsterdam thing. Hope that will be a lot of fun. And I hope that all the books that I've sent out will be received safe and sound. And some of the people that I've reached out to, please respond to me if you can.
What's going on with the packaging? Are you wrapping it up in toilet paper or something, or is it people kicking it about?
No, I'm wrapping it up properly with proper paper. I don't know what's going on, honestly.
It's almost like somebody just wanted to see what the book was about.
Yeah, maybe.
Both ends were open and tattered.
I think Walt's package was just the same. It barely got there. It barely scraped over to Louisiana.
And Adams as well, only across the pond.
Mine was the same. Josh sums it up actually better. It looked like someone had opened it, had a look at what it was, and then put it back, and then sealed it in a plastic bag. Yeah.
Real quick, brilliant pronunciation of Louisiana, man. That was great. Most people mangle it.
Okay, so I did it right. So how do they pronounce it the wrong way then?
Louisiana. Every syllable, most people Louisiana, and it's not. It's Louisiana. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I shudder to think what will happen to the West Coast people like Paul on the Plain and Jaron, who live, on the far West Coast. I'll just be pleased if they actually get there in one piece.
So when will the book be available to the public, or is it already?
December 3rd.
December 3rd. Cool, that's a long way to wait. Cool.
Yeah.
We're proper special, aren't we? I mean, that's a proper pre-release.
Yeah, don't remember, Adam, that's my book you got there.
That's mine, right? It's inside, right? Inside, I'll read it here, look. It's clear, legally clear. The Voyage to Mr. Adam Meakin, Douglas Falk, yeah? Quite clear. It's no John Savage.
Yeah, but
no
look on the back page.
Look
on the back page. Made you look.
Oh, yeah, no, it does. Right, it says, and if Savage tries to ponce this off you, just tell him I wanted an excuse to send you the book anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, okay, well, I agree that it's actually too long, 3 months. I would rather have them like postponed the early copies, because it's a weird sort of disconnect. But I've tried to persuade them to push it to November, but they won't do it. They say because since they will be releasing it to several countries, they would have to ship it to the UK, Canada, and maybe even Australia and things like that. So
Yeah, fair enough.
they say that the only month they can guarantee it is December, but they could probably do it in November. They just don't want to.
Well, just in time for Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So that is my update in a nutshell. If you have any more questions.
I do. Do the publishers have any sort of marketing strategy, any sort of marketing budget put aside for this?
They will start marketing it in November, they say. I don't know precisely what kind of strategy they will take, but I am in contact with their marketers pretty much every day, or well, yeah, almost at least a few times a week, and we discuss the plan for what is to come. But I don't know their exact plan. That I don't know. But if I asked them, they would probably tell me.
I was just curious.
I know that they will try to reach out to a lot of, reviewers and podcasters and things like that to get the hype going. That's pretty much all I know. I haven't, since it's so far away, I haven't really pressured them yet.
And this will be for sale on Amazon, correct?
Yep. Not yet. Just right now, it's available for pre-order on the Mascot webpage. But yeah, it'll be on Amazon in October.
Who's the guy who does the high altitude balloons like every month? He's done like 18 of them now, and Callum.
Dwayne Callum.
Dwayne Callum, yeah. I was thinking send him a copy and he could launch a balloon with the book on it.
Yeah.
With the camera looking at the book and see how high that gets, and like the little piggy thing.
You should work in advertising, John.
I should work in a lot of places, mate. I should work, really.
I actually thought about name dropping him in the book, and I'm sad that I didn't, because there is some section of the book, a very brief one, where they do discuss, high altitude balloons, and he's the one who appears to be doing this the most, right? And he's been doing it for years.
Yeah. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he gets the funding to do it or whatever, but I suppose once you've done it once, it's the repeat funding or the repeat costs are so much lower the next time round. But he's done some cracking work, absolutely.
Yeah, I should definitely get in touch with him. I do have a few copies left, so yeah.
Well, whilst I've got a bit of a segue left, it's Josh. Did you say did I hear something about Riley still going off in chat?
He was in there just making sure it could be purchased on Amazon.
All right, he's checking off. Well, Douglas, the only other thing is you are also one of the people that's bought some space on the UK tour bus.
Yeah.
So yeah, what were your thoughts behind that, pal?
What do you think? What did you
Other than John cajoling you into it and me?
Don't blame me.
I mean, to me, it makes logical sense. You've got somebody that's going to drive around Europe and advertise your book. You know what I mean? You couldn't get a cheaper mail shot than what you've got from that.
Yeah, but are the stickers up yet?
I think they're being delayed. I'm still waiting to see the Iron Realm one, mate. Forget your sticker.
Don't mention the stickers.
I haven't watched. I have watched every single day few snippets of Roxanne and Jason, but I haven't seen because it's some of those videos are like 3 hours long, and I haven't had the time. But Yeah, but from what I've heard, he's had some problems with getting the stickers, right?
It's
Yeah.
par for the course over here. Nothing is easy. Just everything turns to rat shit basically and ruins your life. But yeah, other than that, he's having troubles getting the stickers apparently.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the completed, the full scale bus with all the stickers on.
Snap, mate, snap. Can't wait. With that in mind, maybe if you want to have a little look at this, there was something, Josh. I'll need a little bit of time to line up, but Anthony Riley was on the tour bus this week, and I think it was obviously was in Liverpool when he joined. So he was there, and I think he was having a bit of a ding dong battle with a couple of
Plants.
young academics, is what I was going to say, John. Yeah.
But before we move on, just to Douglas, thanks for coming on, mate, and feel free to stick around and butt in whenever you want.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I think I'll go back to the chat and relax for a bit.
Everyone does chat and talks around here apparently, so it's entirely up to you, mate. But cheers for coming on and giving us an update, and all the best in Amsterdam.
Yeah, cheers, and see you in Amsterdam, Adam.
Yeah, I look forward to it, mate. Don't disappear. Look, your input is more than welcome, mate. You know what I mean? So feel free to hang about both here and in the chat. John will tell you off if you're here, and then you look in chat as well. But
I'll give you a free pass.
It'd be good to look. Maybe at least hang around for this, because this is Riley in the streets doing a bit of activism. And I thought it was quite interesting from these a couple of young academics he's talking to. I think the young lady says she's got a doctorate in quantum mechanics, so quite well educated people. But Riley, he want. I think first of all, we'll have to get the link in the chat, but everybody go and watch Riley kicking arse on the streets of Liverpool. But it's very interesting when you listen to this quite clearly very well-educated young lady who. But it's very interesting how she views the world, and I'll leave it till we play it. But yeah, give me a second, guys, and I'll get it lined up and hopefully for you to share.
Or you could just shoot me the link. I'm not sure your computer can handle playing and streaming at the same time.
Oh, good shout, Josh.
Can yours, Josh?
My new one can.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit.
What have you got in your machine?
Oh, it's a custom build. I'd have to pull the specs up, but I don't know. The graphic card is a 680 with 4 gigs on board.
Compared to what did you have before?
Oh,
I shouldn't be talking to you. You're meant to be doing something, aren't I? Sorry.
Are you supposed to be doing something? I don't know.
I'm not. You are.
I'm waiting for Adam to shoot me a link.
It's in there. It's in there.
Oh, well, never mind. I was busy talking.
In where? Could be anywhere. Could be Telegram. Could be Skype. Twitter. YouTube
I saw it
chat.
because it popped up down below. I saw the little orange message notification.
No, I don't want to know what was popping up down below with you. It's just let's not go there.
You say that now.
No, but I'm not asked that. It's not about the. No, but this isn't my question. But this isn't my question. But this isn't my question. My question is, how do you believe in something that you can't accept? You don't understand yourself.
Is that you, Josh?
Yes.
I've got sound, but not
How do you believe in the concept?
visual.
Am I not sharing screens?
Exactly.
Oh,
So
wait there.
I'm seeing visual.
Yeah, just bear with me. Just
I'm seeing it.
pause it a
It's a bit
sec.
jerky, but I see it.
It's been a...
She's like strung like at the tight end of a violin string. I found. But then I was watching them for about 2 hours. Well,
Have you watched it properly?
Most of them are.
they hung around for unusual amounts of time. I mean, you know, not just a lunch break. These guys were there for a long time, and they were just. It was almost as if they were professional ballers. You know, they knew all about. It was like another guy. It was like a binman on the break, and he was talking about Cavendish and going into the intricacies of Cavendish experiment. And it's like, I don't know. Did people randomly know this shit just walking around? Because I'd never heard of anything like that till
Can I just say one thing? I would have guessed that maybe 1 out of 1,000 randoms on the street would know about Cavendish.
Totally.
That's sort of like the next level. Yeah, that's deep down in this whole debate.
It is. I mean, it is taught in school at a reasonably high level, but it's taught, you know, in such a way that this is Cavendish. He had 2 balls in his shed and proved gravity and weighed the Earth, and moving on. But you know, I don't know. They seem to be attracting. Well, I think it's good, but not when they hang around for 2 hours. That's just obvious plant.
Yeah, well, that is interesting because most people don't even know. I mean, hell, even my dad, he's read the whole book now. He's probably the first one who read it, and until like a year ago, and he's 63 years old, he thought that we could see both sides of the moon. His whole life, he never realized that we only see one side of the moon.
It's like a friend of mine that came down who found out I was into this, and I spent the whole night, literally 5 hours, explaining exactly the same thing, that you only see one side of the moon, and how it does rotate in their model. And he was like, no, but it can't rotate, if we only and we had to set up models and everything. But yeah, 5 hours just wasted teaching him his own bloody his own model.
Yeah, and this is long. My dad has gotten the hang of this now, so he understands quite a lot more now. But he challenged me when I said, no, you can only see one side, and he said, no, that's not right. It's a sphere. I've seen both sides, and he wasn't lying. He was just giving an automated reply, like, okay, it's a sphere up there, therefore we've seen both sides.
Well, unless you take the Russian photos of the dark side of the moon, so-called.
Yeah, but he means from our vantage point on the ground.
Right, yeah, serious misunderstanding.
No, it's a presumption that what you're. It's a bit like what you said with regards to Cavendish. Without proper critical thinking about what's presented to you, if it's given, the information's given in a certain way that purports it to be a certain thing, certainly at the young, kids' age, A-level, GCSEs, where things like Cavendish are discussed and presented to you as part of the evidence, as I've discussed. We did the Cavendish. Well, we attempted the Cavendish experiment. It didn't work. But these things are presented as factual proofs, and I don't think your critical thinking is particularly attuned at that point to be taken apart, and you take it on board as the narrative you're given is correct, along with a lot of the other things that are demonstrably correct to you that you're being taught at the same time. So
it's the ultimate in sheeple, but isn't it, Adam? If you can tell someone that 2 balls are going to be drawn towards each other and it doesn't work, but you still believe that the experiment, and you still believe in gravity, even though it can't be presented visually, as an experiment, and you don't see it with your own eyes, you still believe it. That's the ultimate in being a sheep, I reckon.
Yeah, but it's presented. I take my example at A level. It's presented alongside other more obvious experiments, such as taking a ball bearing and dropping it and timing its rates over different distances and calculating its acceleration, which is something you can physically do and then do the maths on. So the whole narrative you're fed is reinforced with stuff. So when you then come across the Cavendish parlor trick and it doesn't work, and your teacher goes, yeah, it needs to be huge. You need huge balls, boy. You need huge balls in a shed. Do you know what I mean? And so, okay, and you move on because frankly, that one looks shit anyway, that experiment. It was a tiny little box. Do you know what I mean? With stuff in, and you had to wait for ages, boring. So you move on and you just assign it to as the experiment that didn't work, not anything in terms of something to question, and you move on. It's a small part, but actually, when you get to this level, it's as a baller would tell you, it's something that fundamentally underpins their religion. It's a founding proof.
I saw a funny tweet the other day from a supposed flat earther. Anyway, they said it should be easier if gravity was real. Then it should be easier to breathe looking up. And that got some attention from the Globers. I thought that was funny, but yeah, should be if you're looking up.
The air just fall right down your throat, right into your lungs.
Yeah, that's right. You just let the oxygen go in. That was a good one.
That is a good one. I have to remember
Can
that.
I geek the shit out of that?
Probably.
You probably believe it, you bloody silly.
Well, I'd explain it. So it comes back to, if you've seen George Scumbag on Ranty stuff recently, it was a question I put to him. So with regards to like what Conspiracy Cats talks about, the molecules after an elastic collision of gas molecules, where they shoot off based on the angle of collision, they claim that gravity is pulling them back. That's what stops them escaping and forms this invisible force field barrier. But with regards to that, what I asked George was, well, within an elastic collision, then surely one molecule would, even though small, would be subject to the force of gravity. So it would be more weighted to anything heading simply down, would also not only have the combined energy of the elastic collision, but also be subject to the acceleration, which isn't something that's calculated, by the way, but be subject to the acceleration of gravity as well, on top of the forces that are then defined by that elastic collision. So that would be what you're defining, Rob, that if gravity did exist, it'd be easier to suck in because the air pressure, it wouldn't just be air pressure, it would be air pressure plus the force of gravity forcing straight down, which would go straight down your windpipe.
Moving on.
Yeah. Well done, Adam. Yeah, it's enthralling.
Yeah, I knew you managed to critique the shit right out of it.
Yeah.
He didn't say he'd make it interesting. He said he'd geek the shit out of it, which
I did.
Which he did.
I did qualify it. I didn't say let me entertain you.
But who's this guy with lamb chops on his face?
Right, so you need to go, Josh, to where is it? 40. Oh shit. Where was it? 40. No, it wasn't. 31 minutes.
Wah, wah, wah. Did anyone
Riley
know?
says play it from there.
Did anyone
31.
Did anyone know that Riley was turning up before this? Was that advertised?
No, just chancer, innit?
Interesting.
Well, I didn't anyway, but why would he tell me?
No, I just wondering if they spoke about it on the live stream the day before, whether they knew, or whether he just rocked up out of nowhere with a nice swanky suit on, and
Be honest,
which
mate,
I approve of.
I'm just starting to get back in. I've been so busy, getting back off holiday.
Yeah, whatever.
You see, it's been work.
Hey, Adam, play the video.
It's not me that's got it to play, but I can transition it. Yeah,
All
maybe
right.
just go back a little bit. 30 seconds before that bit, Josh.
Around with equations. Einstein didn't wake up with one day and discover like.
Have you got?
These
do you have a degree?
Yes.
In physics.
I did what? I did A-level in physics.
Did you get a degree in physics?
I have a degree in quantum mechanics.
Quantum mechanics. So you guys are struggling with the independent variable. And
No, we're not.
You are
not.
What
I'm saying is,
I
if
did
I
a degree in quantum mechanics. I think I knew the difference between an independent variable is.
Yeah, you agree it's the presumed cause?
No, it's not the
can just
presumed
change.
cause. It's the thing that you change to explain the cause.
Yeah, it's the presumed cause.
That's not the presumed cause.
Yes, it is.
The presumed cause is the dependent variable. The presumed cause is the dependent variable. The presumed cause is the dependent variable. The presumed cause is the dependent variable.
I think I get his point.
Let it
you
play
use
for a little
maths.
bit.
What I'm saying with maths is, if you use it as an independent variable and you just kind of play around with it,
can't
sooner
use
or
maths as an
later
independent variable.
somebody will turn around and say, "Well, that's not right because I've found it like this."
It's
And
the
then we
basic
realise
fundamental of
that.
the universe is maths. That's evidently why anytime you plug anything into how our current law works, you can get a mathematical equation out at the end of it. That's not just like random convenience. Biology is explained by chemistry, chemistry is explained by physics, physics is explained by maths.
Right, would you accept
Maths is the fundamental.
Would you accept an EDU citation from an education establishment for an independent variable? EDU, would you accept it as a credible citation?
Sure, why not? But depending what it's for.
So, I've just Googled it. So, this is the University of... I'm not sure where this is. You see it. Whatever USC
That's the
like.
social sciences, though. That's not the same thing.
Okay, well, so I can go to another one. Let's go to another one.
Yeah, not a social science.
Okay, let's go to another one. It's a bit slow on the internet, so bear with me. Come on.
The thing with maths is once you've found it,
It's not maths.
once you've found it,
Independent variable presumed cause.
So say, okay, so you're doing a computational experiment.
Sorry?
So I'm doing a computational experiment.
Yeah. A computational experiment is not an experiment
Why?
because it doesn't adhere to the scientific
What's the
method.
definition of an experiment?
What?
What's the definition of an experiment?
A practical demonstration of your cause and effect relationship. It's a hypothesis test.
Yeah, so if I'm doing it on a computer, how does that affect that? Because I'm still doing a practical...
No, you're not. You're computing a cause and effect. You're not actually experimenting. That's not. It's
Well, I
missing.
am experimenting to changing something to observe, to explain an observed observation.
Yeah, but if you're doing it on a computer, that's not complying with experimentation. Because
Why?
because you're failing to manipulate your presumed cause
Yeah, but
in
you
your
are manipulating
experiment.
because you're
You're not. You're
changing
computing it like maths. You have to physically change it.
because you write your own code, your own equations.
Yeah.
And when they don't work, you sit there and think, right, what am I bugging
How
up?
does
Because
it-
if the math doesn't work, then you know that your science is wrong. And so you keep playing around with the science until it adheres with maths, because maths is unchanging. Einstein didn't just wake up one day with one equation in his head that suddenly proved relativity. He thought about it, he did experiments on it. People like Kepler, people like Lenz, they all built on it. And then realised that actually it's correct.
University of Indiana has got a glossary of terms and variables, right? It's just a dictionary glossary. I'll read what it says. Independent variable. Independent variable, the presumed cause in an experimental study. All other variables that may impact the dependent variable are controlled. The values of the independent variable are under the experimenter control. Strictly speaking, independent variable should not be used when writing about non-experimental or computerized designs. Presumed cause. It is presumed cause. That's why math can't be your independent variable. Come on, this is the
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, it's not. You were saying math can be a cause. You've just flipped flop.
No.
That's a flip flop.
Maths doesn't.
You've just flipped your position.
Maths isn't.
Maths is the fundamental
Maths
of
is a
everything in this
constant.
universe.
True, but it's not a cause in the scientific experiment.
Can I finish? maths is the fundamental of everything in this universe. Everything can be whittled down into maths. As far as we can observe,
You can't do
everything
that.
as far as we have observed, everything that exists in this current universe is whittled down into mathematical equations. Whether you believe it or not, how many equations can be whittled down into maths? No, I'm finishing this point.
Yeah, but hang on, you're making a massive point. Let me respond to that.
No, because I haven't finished this point yet. You can respond to it once I finish the entire point. Can we whittle down into mathematical equations? Therefore, the mathematical equation is the cause of everything of the universe. If everything can whittle down to that equation, because that equation is getting out the cause.
Right, listen. You said everything can be whittled down to mathematics in the observed universe.
Yes.
Your first step in your scientific method is to perform an observation.
Yeah.
Observe a phenomena.
Yeah.
So if you're going to claim that everything can be whittled down to mathematics in observation, I'm going to say that's only the first step of scientific method.
Yes.
It's not the full procedure.
No, exactly.
You're falling short. To get it to be scientific, you have to go and then perform experimental tests, and you're not doing that based on observations. That's why astronomy is not science.
Yeah. Okay. But
It isn't. It's
observing.
But no, it's not. It is. It uses maths. It uses experiments. It doesn't use
astronomy.
CERN. They're using quantum mechanics to understand how.
How are they doing an experiment on the sun?
Because they're using quantum mechanics and then the maths with that, which they're then applying to astronomy and seeing if it works. And then it works. And then they know.
You have to
observe
just
is not
observe and
science.
go, oh, there's
You need
the
an
maths right
experiment.
there.
No, it is. It's one step of science. Yeah, but it's still science.
No, but it's incomplete. If you don't adhere to scientific method, you're a fake
But it's
scientist.
part of science.
Well done. You've observed
No,
something.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you stop. What I'm saying is you then go on and you try and figure out the maths.
How does astronomy go to the next step where you make a hypothesis, where you predict an independent variable and
Because they did it with
cause
gravitational lensing.
Right, gravitational lenses is what? It's an observation, yeah?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They did it with gravitational
What's
lensing.
the
Where they
cause? What's the cause?
mass and the curvature of space-time.
Who wiggled it to prove that it was the cause of the effect that they claimed
What do you
they were
mean, who
observing?
wiggled
You've got to manipulate your independent variable. Who wiggled the mass to prove that it was the
what you do-
cause
yeah,
of the
I'm
buzzer?
not saying that you wake up one day, you come up with a formula, and that's it, bang, done.
Yeah, you
What
did
I'm
say that a
saying-
minute ago.
No, I didn't. I never said that at all, because what you do in maths is you come up with something, and then you try and prove
Let's stay
it.
on gravitational lensing. You said gravitational lensing was science. I said they observed something.
Yeah.
What caused it?
Mass and the curvature of space-time.
Pull it
Who
there,
wiggled the mass to
Josh.
prove that that did cause the perception that you believe the phenomenon?
So it goes on for a bit, as you can probably tell.
Oh my word! It's
well-
hard work watching.
He's good, isn't he? Because there's no way that I could sit there. I know that he's full of shit, the so-called scientist there, but it'd be hard. I wouldn't be the sort of person to argue like Anthony is there, eh?
Yeah, and how can you argue with
Really difficult. But yeah, it's that he knows his shit, doesn't he?
He thinks, the guy there, he thinks he knows, doesn't he? And
Oh, they all do.
the lady as well.
They all do. They're not living in reality, are they? They're scientists that absolutely are not living by the scientific rule.
Well, there was a line that the Lash used, which was biology. Then from biology we know chemistry down to physics down to maths, and you know that is not a chain of knowledge that is maintained. It gets weaker and and weaker, and what I would say the end link is very different to the other things. The other things are all based on observation and experiment. Maths is stuff that backs it up for prediction to try and model it.
But maths is also a language, and I mean, I was like these guys. I used to think maths was everything. Maths is reality, but
But
it's
the
just
astrophysicists, they even say it's off by like 96% that their math doesn't work.
Maths is reality when you get 2 apples and you add 2 apples and you got 4 apples. That's reality.
well, that's reality. But
When
expressing
they
it,
take it to the extremes of what they're doing,
Or shit.
it's not reality anymore.
So if you take 3 apples and subtract 5 apples, and you're left with -2 apples. How is that fucking reality?
And Jason did actually try that, use that argument earlier. It was quite amusing.
I think you know what I'm saying, Josh.
Wasn't it George Ellis who said that you can construct a cosmological model, both geocentric and heliocentric, with math, basically? That
Of course.
you can skew the numbers. And I believe I even have this quote in my book. That's why I remember it. But basically, you can tailor. Yeah, you can make it whatever you want with maths.
Because it's a language. So, and just like a language, it can describe as much as it can describe, and it can also lie, and it can also tell the truth, and it can also predict. And it's well, to me now, it's just a language.
Well, the point I wanted to make there was, to them, I think we're all quite clear that there is a clear distinction between the sciences that she first describes and then maths at the end. And for me, it's a language, a way of trying to describe things within the mathematical language. And it's only as accurate as the model that the maths builds. And never ever would you pretend that any mathematical model is a true represent. You know, for example, just throwing a ball, you could say, oh yeah, force times blah blah blah, all that kind. But at what point do you take in the air dynamics, how they affect the ball, how the particular movement, all of those things enable you to build a more complex model mathematically? And that's the thing about maths. It's about trying to describe what you observe in this special language, and understanding its limitations is I think crucial to any scientist, for want of a better word. But what I heard from those two folks was a kind of natural sequence of things that, if you can then describe it mathematically, okay, what you've observed, not understand it mathematically, but just the observations you've made, and build a model that fits those, you can then tweak that to imbue some kind of scientific inference from whatever you then redefine from the mathematics.
What I heard was religion.
Reality to, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That would seem reality to them. These are clearly educated young people who are, you know, as she said, at quantum mechanics level, and her reification of the next step, or the maths that she does, is kind of worrying, that she actually places that as real, that if she can twist this equation this way or that actually has some implication to reality. And
it'd be interesting to listen to their professor talk, if that's the way they're talking.
Well, when you say they're well educated, I would say that that's well brainwashed.
Educated, programmed, it's all the same.
You know. Well, you could say that math is reality maybe 99 times out of 100, but there is that one time, once in a blue moon, when the 1 out of 100 comes along, and yeah, the math works out, but it doesn't represent reality.
Yeah, not all reality. Well, not all maths is reality, but all reality is not all math. Oh, I don't bloody know.
Yeah,
look in the background.
Einstein didn't lie, I don't think, when he came up with his equations. He just made equations, and this is what he thought. I don't think he, you know.
Einstein was a philosopher, pure and simple. But I love, what I love is the fact that they're in front of a shop window that's got People Planet written in it.
And I'm assuming those two walked away still believing that Anthony didn't turn them at all, did he?
They're still there, mate. They're still there. It's been 2.5 days now, and they're still there. They're getting a bit hungry now.
So you reckon they were proper shit up for? I mean, it does go on for quite a while. I think at it was 41 minutes, Riley says, that she, and this was the point I was going to come to, maybe just for a bit more uber geekiness, but it does have a point. She claims to him that she's seen an atom, John. Let me get you somewhere around there, John.
Don't blame
But
me.
then use that to calculate the degree of warpage of space-time.
I'll accept that. And how did you prove that the cause of gravitational lensing was caused by mass?
By using quantum mechanics and observable physics.
Yeah, but that's not how you prove it in a scientific experiment, is
But
it?
then also, some
You don't
things
prove
haven't...
science with science.
What?
That's what you're saying. You don't. Using science to it doesn't prove a scientific.
No, you do prove
concept.
things in science. You said before we don't prove things in science. That's not true. We
I
do.
never said they don't prove things. in science.
46 minutes 30, Josh. Sorry.
What do you think the Cavendish experiment proves? I'm aware nobody has ever seen an atom. We believe that we see how it
No,
interacts.
you've never seen an electron. You've been able to see the mass of an atom for hundreds of years now. I've been able to run those experiments.
So what you're saying is
Use
that
electron microscopes to view that.
so the-
You can't see electron orbits. That's what you can't see. It's different.
so you can see an atom.
You can
Yes.
see the mass of protons and neutrons collected together.
Can you see an atom?
Yes.
You've seen it yourself.
Yes.
Through an electron microscope.
Yes.
As far as I'm aware, and I might be wrong on this, because science is not, physics is not my area, but as far as I'm aware, nobody's ever seen an atom before.
Well, that's a load of bollocks. I can take you up to the University of Liverpool right now and show you one.
Okay.
You want it?
So, Mike, to answer the original questions, what was the first question you asked?
What is your degree in?
I did my degree in straight law, and I specialise in evidence.
So, okay, evidence. So would you not agree that social science and the way evidence goes along in a social construct is completely different to science because yours is an arts degree, I see you have a bachelor's of art.
No, it's LLB, it's not a Bachelor of Art at all.
What is it then?
LLB.
What's an LLB stand for?
Straight law.
Okay, so mine's a Bachelor of Science, so I think I'd rather know more about how to conduct a scientific experiment than you will, 'cause I presume I've conducted many more scientific
But you don't
experiments
think
than you have.
you don't.
No, the presumed cause is the dependent variable. No, the presumed cause is the dependent variable. No, the presumed cause is the dependent variable.
I don't think the first stage of scientific method involves observing a natural phenomenon, and it's literally everywhere you look.
Sorry. I could get lost in that.
Yeah, it's good. I've said to Riley, I've got some gardening planned tomorrow, Josh. So I've said to Riley, I'm going to go through the whole thing because it does look a good giggle. There's probably a few more gems in there, but there was that little bit where she said she's seen an atom, and it was something John's always teased me for, isn't it?
Molecules I've teased you for.
Was I wrong? Did she not say for hundreds of years people have seen atoms?
Adam?
Atoms?
I could have swore that's what she said. Oh yeah, we've seen them. People have seen them for hundreds of years now.
Yeah, I think she did say that, Zach.
I'd more believe that people saw an atom 120, 50 years ago than today, as they were watching
How
live
old are
viruses and stuff.
electron
Fine.
microscopes?
Sorry.
Sorry, John. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying the miracles that what was it? The fines, is it? No, 10. Oh God! Someone sort me out. The one where he's watching living organisms through the Rife. Thank you. Yeah, no one's been able to recreate a Rife telescope since, have they? Or am I wrong?
No.
I've got a little bit of reading before an explanation, which will probably summarise what I've always said. Too much reading tonight. I need a sip of wine. And it's kind of to do with that and what this lass is talking about in terms of seeing stuff with an atom. And we see stuff with an electron microscope of varying different types. But that's not seeing. That's imaging. We're imaging with electrons. Now, we image with electrons for a reason. That's because photons only can fit within the wavelength of light. I'll read it. It's more succinct than my ramblings, but
Real quick, Adam. 1931 was when the first electron microscope was created. So it hasn't even been 100 years yet.
That's not made 100, has it? Right then, so seeing with your eyes. The answer to the titular question really depends on what we mean by see. We see something when light emitted or reflected from an object reaches our eyes and the signal is conducted to our brain. The naked human eye has a resolution of about 100 microns. Atoms are separated by roughly a tenth of a nanometer, and we can barely see a mote of dust that is a million atoms wide. So in this sense, no, we cannot see an atom. But if we use a magnifying glass, or if we use a microscope or a telescope, an electron microscope, where do we draw the line and what it means to see something? For the purposes of this article, I draw the line at visible frequency passive objects, lenses and mirrors. If a microscope is converting light to electrical signals, collecting data for longer than the human eye can, or the signal is being amplified digitally, or light is not being used at all, we are no longer seeing the object we are looking at. We are seeing what a computer screen is showing us.
Yep, totally agree.
So with our naked eyes, we cannot see atoms, and looking through any light microscope, we also cannot, because even the best lenses and mirrors cannot beat the diffraction limit, which is roughly half a wavelength, about 200 nanometers, or 1 to 2,000 atoms. If materials existed that could refract X-rays, like glass refracts visible light, we could maybe make an X-ray microscope, but those materials do not exist. So that is the limitation of, I think, what we would define as seeing and why.
And what year is that written?
That's from Physics Forum Insights. I say it was a little rush tonight because Riley put that stuff up and he mentioned the atom stuff, and I obviously rung a bell with me and you, mate. You know, you smart ass. So I did a little bit of just trying to gather a couple of quotes that kind of exemplified the point. I've got another one which is probably a little geeky, but if you'll bear with me, I can maybe just take you through that. So it just kind of puts into perspective what's happening with regards to what happens with an electron microscope. There we go. I'm showing it to the audience, so just bear with me while I show it to you guys.
Yeah, I found it easier if you just, I think if you screen share it, I guess it doesn't pop up on yours. There's a setting in Zoom, I think, that works.
I've heard that myth too. There's a setting in Zoom somewhere that works. You just press it and everything works.
Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Explain that stuff website. Yeah. So I think I've got that on the main screen as well. So I won't go into too much detail. It's just a little bit simple, but the basic difference is, you know, light is photons bouncing off stuff, and we receive that. So it's coming from a photon. This is basically the collection of electrons, and they work in a number of different ways. To put simply, there's one that goes kind of through stuff, which is a transmission electron microscope. This one here, where the emission goes through and is collected and refocused. And then there's the standard scanning, where it goes, basically the electrons are bounced off and collected to collect the image. But this is the point really that they make. Really, this is do you define this as seeing? So that's kind of all I wanted to.
It's not
add
so
to
much
that.
if it's seeing. It's the thing like that image you've got there, where they've got the electrons buzzing around the nucleus or whatever they think it is, and the way they talk and the way they explain things is that these electrons get excited and they bash into other electrons and knock off one electron onto another electron, and this makes a different substance, and it's all speculation in reality. But yeah, they can go to some lengths to try and describe it, like maths describes as a language, but it's all still theory. They don't know if there's a little thing called an electron, or what it's made of, or whether it's got strings inside it and all this sort of stuff. It's pure philosophy.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. That's exactly what you've got. Oh gosh. Oh, dear me. Is these kind of images, and that's what's purported to be, an image of an atom. Where's the one where they draw pictures? What silly pictures. But what you got to remember is this is an image created a bit like on an old school TV. So it's exactly that, really, because you fire in an electron, and then it's bouncing off in whatever manner, whether it's going through to create a shadow of an image where it doesn't, in certain parts. But what you're getting is not necessarily, and this is the final bit I wanted to get to. As you can see there, you're getting these kind of blurry images. But what you've got with these machines is they don't use lenses, they use magnets to direct and focus the beam and then magnify it to create an image. But what you're actually seeing is the divergence of electrons around the atoms. What you're not seeing is, and the pattern that divergence of their path or impedance of their path creates. That's what you're seeing there. But what you're not seeing in any way, shape, or form is the atom. And you're certainly not getting the level of detail that is ascribed to that, John. Because what you're not going to see is that. What you're going to see is how this, as a blob, impedes the electron and what that does, whether it absorbs it or redirects it. But
whether it's real or not, it's still a requirement to take it on faith that is actually what is happening and what you're seeing anyway. It's not something that you or I can knock up in our shed.
No,
and that doesn't mean it's not true, but it means that there is a degree of faith.
I wouldn't question the validity of what you're seeing. I would seriously question the claim that you're seeing it. You're not seeing anything other than an image that has been created via firing electrons at something to give a resolution of something that, like I said, isn't necessarily what we would call an image. Because if we look at that atom image, we'd expect to see at worst the nucleus and then a haze around it of these whizzing electrons, if that model is correct.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is what I'm looking at here.
Let me just finish. What you're seeing is a pattern created by firing electrons at what we suppose is something that looks like that, and then based on their, like I say, whatever happens to that electron, creating an image from the path of that electron. So we're not looking at it. When we say we can see it, what we can see is that electron pattern that we've fired at that atom.
Okay, well, I would say what you're seeing is being processed through software and hardware, and what they're showing you at the other end is a sphere being circled by orbiting bodies. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that if in reality, when they zoom in and look at these things or image these things, they might see platelets with small orbiting bodies above, just like the flat Earth. I think what they're showing us is a heliocentric model, and it's beyond the scope of any normal person to be able to recreate that. So what they are putting out at the other end, to me, resembles confirmation of the heliocentric model of objects orbiting a sphere. That threw you all, didn't it?
It was a bit sideways, wasn't it?
It's a bit coincidence, though, isn't it, that everything that they can see resembles what the stuff that
well,
they're teaching.
What I'd say with regards to that is you know, this is about, as I just said, you're not seeing any detail. So what you're seeing is a low resolution imaging that's not created by showing you what's there. It's created by the electromagnetic fields of how the electrons interfere with that atom. So the image is created by that. So you're not going to get a classical image. What you're getting is a basically it's the same. You see on screen, okay, it's the same as the way the old school, you know, your standard electron microscope works is this kind of method, I think, which is where it goes through and they fire the electrons and they focus it like you would through a standard lens down through the plate. This is interesting, Zach. You know, the plate that they use to facilitate and hold the thing you're observing is copper. Just an interesting point that I thought was quite cute. It wasn't anything transparent. It was something that was flexible in the electromagnetic world. So it then goes through that, and then the image comes back out of there, and then it's expanded again to create another image. Now, the thing that's interesting for me about this is basically, I said, how the old school TVs worked. This hits a cathode ray tube at the end to create the image, particularly in a lab one where you're not, you know, you're looking through it. It's projected onto a screen. So there's a level of real-time reality, but it's not an image. It's well, it is an image, but it's not a picture, if you know what I mean. It is as previously described.
I think it's the optical equivalent of the ping they get when they're beaming lasers at the moon and receiving one photon back on there. You know, that's data in, it has to go through a CPU, it then has to be subject to the software that's written by a man, and you get a ping. And who's to say that, I mean, this, like you say, it's an image, it has to create the image. Let's say they're getting ribbons of data into their machine, and someone has written the program on how to interpret that data and how to present that data to us or to the observer, and it's highly likely that they've probably built in the heliocentric sphere orbiting model into it, because it's their interpretation, just like it's Simmons's interpretation of the ball Earth.
So that was my long-winded bit that I didn't get out, is what you're seeing there is a very, very, very low resolution image of whatever's there. Now, if we scroll up, you know, that's not a sphere as such. I know it's orbital, But whatever it is, it doesn't matter what that image is. We're not seeing that. What we're seeing is a blob, which kind of identifies a bit with regards to when you think about Rayleigh's criterion, that you get down to 1 pixel. And that's still kind of what you're seeing. We might be seeing more than 1 pixel, but unfortunately, the electron that's being fired, whether it hits between the center pixel or the outside edge pixel, all that does is either be absorbed or slightly deflect.
How do you even?
Let me finish.
How do you fire an electron?
Let me just finish. So you don't get a level of resolution even firing the electrons because you're not.
Yeah, you can't see it.
You're not.
It's beyond the spectrum.
No, we can do. You can focus and then re-increase the lens. That's not the issue. The point is when you've moved that point of focus, even from the center to the outside, when the electron hits it, it either registers and is absorbed, for what, or doesn't get through the plate and through the next section, or it is slightly diverted. So all you see is the outside of whatever's there. And when I say the outside, I don't mean the physical outside. I mean the electromagnetic outside, because it's that diverts the electron. So you're not seeing anything in its physical sense. You're seeing an electromagnetic image of the atom. I'm done rambling. That was the final point.
I'd just like to know how they fire electrons, or something that they don't even know exists and have never seen.
Mr. Electron, your performance has really been kind of slagging off lately. Your attitude has become very negative, and it's just not become a very good fit. And I think we're just going to have to go ahead and let you go.
And this electron absorbed, and he didn't report back, and that electron did absorb and didn't. It's just, to me, it's like the double slit. Well, show me this gun that shoots photons or electrons or whatever. How do they explain that, Adam?
It's a flashlight.
Yeah,
a gun that shoots electrons, shoots photons. You mean
light bulb?
Light bulb, yeah. A laser.
I mean single electrons, as they purport to do in the double slit, and what how I understood what you're talking about, Adam, when they fire the electron at it. It's like, okay, they might as well call it fairy farts.
I think if you fire about 3 million photons at the moon, you get one back.
And it goes ping.
Bing.
And who told it to go ping? Man.
Now, whenever you register something that I'm going to call a photon, you play this sound.
The man who made the machine that goes ping.
It should say Kawabunga, like John did the other night.
No, I didn't. You got me wrong. I said kamikaze. No, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze.
Did you guys catch Neil deGrasse Tyson on Joe Rogan this morning?
Oh, no.
No.
He was having a go at Nikola Tesla, and he got quite a few dislikes on that clip. So I just thought that was interesting.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, bitch.
And I'm not surprised he got thumbed down for criticizing Tesla or whatever. Tesla's been hoisted up there as the man, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was basically denouncing the whole. He called it the Tesla fan club. So yeah,
and I'll just say, screw you all. I know how you've surreptitiously moved on, and you've obviously said Adam's going to ramble tonight, Douglas. Just if you can just chip in with a Neil deGrasse Tyson bit of shit.
You've been reading our notes.
Move the conversation on after he's gone on. I hope you get the point. It's not an image, John.
It's
So
not an
we can't-
image. It's a what?
It is an image. Well, it's not even an image.
Make your bloody mind up, Meekin. Even it is or it isn't an image.
It's an image. Sorry.
Thank you.
It's not any optical image in any way. That's the point. Yeah, it's not
Gotcha.
optical in any way.
Gotcha.
So no, you can't see it now.
I know.
Glad I've clarified that for you then.
So what's Riley saying in the chat? Is he
I don't
still
know.
in there?
It's his fault. If anybody's fault, that was Riley's fault.
Well, get him on if we want to fill some minutes. He's probably still arguing with those two Pudlians. Was it Liverpool? No, it wasn't. Was it Sunderland or something?
Oh, they went to Sunderland. I loved that bit. I kept tuning in there because that's obviously where I went to uni. And they were filming outside the Bridges Centre, which was.
I didn't know you went to Sunderland. Where the hell is Sunderland anyway?
That's armpit of the UK, mate.
That doesn't help me out. There's quite a few of them.
Near Newcastle.
Okay. Not sure. I've been to Newcastle.
Yeah, it's in there, but yeah, I love a gorgeous place, mate. It's only it's a really tiny little town centre. So they were stood outside the main shopping area. So hopefully, yeah.
My idea for the next tour, wasn't it, was to actually just do the coasts and just do spots, like sod all the cities and all that nonsense. Just do flat earth hotspots around the coast of wherever you are, so that you can stop. Like everyone is drawn to the coast, so there won't be a problem with passing people. But you could put your banner up, right in front of the seaside, and be able to see something, or possibly be able to see like a lighthouse off the coast that you have all the details on. You've got the height of it, you know how far away it is, you've got the curve calculator, Meekin Extraordinaire on your app, and it would just be one of those things that any of these numpties that turn up with their quantum physics sophistry, you just turn around and go, can you see that? Can you explain that? And I just think that would be quite powerful. Or not.
It sounded like they don't even teach the kids how wrong. Well, of course they don't, but they don't even let them know, hey, we are like way off. We need some help, like coming up with new ideas how to make the stars do what they're supposed to do in our model.
No, they know everything, and now we live in a beer bottle.
Math proves it. Yeah, math proves it all. Math proves the star.
Don't you know? It's multiverses now. It's not just one. We're even less of a significant piece of shit on the edge of a beer bottle, on the edge of a drunk's homeless cardboard box. Sorry.
Except aren't we in like the center of the bum's cardboard box? We're not on the edge.
It's changed now. Everything's changed now. We're not on the edge. We're in the center. The moon's in our atmosphere. It's not. There is no such thing as a Van Allen belt, but there is. But you can't get humans through it. But we can. Whew. I just can't.
I wonder how much has changed in the cosmology since flat Earth compared to how much it normally had to change.
Oh wow, that would be a good study. That would be a great PhD, wouldn't it? Because I bet it hasn't changed for 100 years at least.
And now all kinds of stuff's changed. They even changed the distance to the sun.
They even changed the size of the sun.
During that one eclipse. Yeah.
The size of the Earth. The size of our atmosphere.
It's pear-shaped.
Because it has to be. Well, thanks for tuning in to Iron Realm Media. We've clearly run out of shit to waffle about.
You can't cope with a second, can you?
A second? Yeah. Can you go back? Was that a second, Meekin, in your mind?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so I'll go back and listen to that tomorrow, and that will be 1 second, will it?
Well, we'll time it.
No, I'm going to get all Riley on your ass here. You can't say shit like that.
Time it. That's good. and we'll discuss magnitude.
We'll time it, and then we will calculate the gravity of that time delay.
Yeah, there could have been a gravitational wave there.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was a second for Adam, but I got caught in a gravitational wave, and it was actually 4 seconds for me. Who knows?
That's
Anyway,
just what we'll say. Yeah.
That's enough waffling to get on with whatever is getting on with.
Well, I just want to ask the chat. Can you type between whatever you think it was 1 or 4 seconds?
Well, hell, why not? What else have we got to do?
There was a bit I was going to round up on, John, just because that was all kind of interrelated. We'd mentioned the Amsterdam tour, the bus camper van starting its tour, and Kidderminster as well, I think. But I showed a little bit of Kiddie on the screen when we were chatting.
Easy, Tiger. We don't want Kiddie on the screen.
Kidderminster.
Kiddie porn. Don't even test. Don't even test their algorithms.
Could have had a goat fetish. Could have been anything, right? Point being,
I'm still worried.
Since for as long as I can remember, we've been talking about these bloody conferences, but they're finally here, thank God. And I've nearly got the iron staff out. I'm going to charge the gyroscope this week because finally the first one's here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trucking off to Kidderminster.
The first what's there?
Convention.
Oh, gotcha.
The UK. So next week, I won't be here. I'll be on the stick.
Is it next?
Staff.
Is it next week?
Yeah.
Holy
I want to cut that audio so bad.
You'll be on the stick and the staff.
Staff. Iron staff.
Shall not pass.
Exactly.
Excellent. Can we see it? Have you got the prototype?
Oh, it's in the bag up there, and I'm comfortable with a glass of wine. But next week you'll see it. Oh, you'll see from it.
Well, so what is it? Next Friday?
Yeah, because next Friday I'll be ploughing down there.
And where's Kidderminster? That's slap bang in the middle, isn't it? How far is it away from you?
An hour or so. Something too much. A couple of hours tops. I hope so. Anyway.
Is your wife and kids coming with you, or?
Oh no. No.
Well, you can't be playing away, can you? If you're iron sticking it all over the place.
Leo's playing at home, so it'll be one of the. I'm annoyed. We've got first game this week, and then next week I'm going to miss it. Luckily, my wife's birthdays fell nice for the middle week. The following week, I'm in Amsterdam, and I miss another game of football.
And then you're driving the van at some point, aren't you? You still shitting it?
I'm all good, mate. I was thinking back to I had a caravan. That's why I got the Porsche Cayenne originally. We needed something to pull a caravan, so I thought that looks good.
You bought that bag of shit.
Adam, could I ask you, do you know who's driving the van in the Stockholm pit stop?
No bloody idea. Anyone in chat that knows?
Yeah, if Roxanne or Jason is in the chat, I have. I know just the place they should stop at the Stockholm one.
And you know just the guy who rang you the other night, late at night, to drive it, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Well, the thing is, Douglas, that's cool because you're going to Amsterdam, so we'll meet up with Jason and Rox and over a coffee.
Well, are they going to Sweden before they go to Amsterdam? because you might be able to hitch a ride.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I think they will go to Stockholm on October 5th, I think, which is just like 6 days after the conference.
You might be able to get a lift back then.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, I've already bought my plane ticket, so it's all right. But I should probably bow out now. But thank you so much for having me on again.
Pleasure, mate.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And thank you again so much for the book. I'm excited to dive into it this weekend.
Yeah, no problem. And for anyone else, if you have questions about the book or want to reach me in some way, just go to my website, douglasfalk.com, or my Twitter account, which I've begun being active on Twitter lately. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting up there. And anyone who wants to ring you, not a problem. Phone number's on the site. Early morning, the better.
Yeah, looking forward to more of those calls. Yeah, well, good night, everyone.
Take it easy, Douglas.
Night, Douglas. Cheers, pal.
Sorry, Zach.
I was just saying the Falk is Falk.
Absolutely. And the website is douglasfalk.com, right?
Yeah.
Falk as in Falcon Heavy.
As in Falcon Heavy.
Yeah. Really Falcon Heavy.
Big Falcon rocket. You want to penetrate the atmosphere with your SpaceX.
Blimey, where are we going here?
If only it was the 70s.
I think I'm going to have to limit my appearances to about 2 hours, I think.
I'm pretty sure that's why those things are called what they are. It seems too large a coincidence.
They might as well just call them Big Cock.
Might as well, if you take a look at it. But
or Short and Dumpy Cock as the last thing they launched.
It was.
There's a bit of an Epstein cock, as I've been told. Sorry, this has gone a whole horrible way, hasn't it? Move it on, host.
No.
I thought the Epstein just kind of hung there.
Apparently that was the problem. It just, hung. Never mind. Hey. Moving on. I've been watching far too much. And a shout out to Blackstone Intelligence, Sean Morphonius. I've been following along with his. I think he's a great guy, and he's had Flat Earthers on his show as well, as far as I know. So shout out.
I want to take a minute and just remind everybody to stop and take a look down at your subscription button and make sure it's grayed out. Make sure you're actually subscribed to our YouTube channel whenever you're listening to this. It seems like they just shave a few off every day. And I can accept that people maybe accidentally subscribed or didn't know what they were subscribing to and heard a few minutes or were like, fuck no, unsubscribe, whatever, I get it. But just the consistency with which that happens, I find to be unbelievable. So I'm pretty sure it's just YouTube being stupid, and I know I get unsubscribed from channels that I purposefully subscribe to. So just make sure you're subscribed.
Can't find them either.
There you go.
I had trouble finding this show today.
Really?
Yeah, it was not in my subscriptions. When I hit my subscriptions, it didn't pop up. I had to go search for it.
I should probably subscribe to Iron Realm Media, shouldn't I?
We have two channels, a blue logo and a red logo. We have a Iron Realm Media podcast, I think, or HNS podcast, I think is the email address. HNS is Have No Sphere, by the way. But ideally, we'll start adding content over there as well.
Because we seem to be adding a subscriber a week at the moment. It seems like. Didn't we hit sort of 2,000 14 years ago or something?
It does feel that way.
Do you know what I mean about that 1 second?
Yeah, it's because you're 46 now, mate. You've always been a member of the 73 club. Yeah.
I've never felt so virile.
What does that mean, sorry?
You can't remember anything?
That's
Right, I got you. Yeah, I'm very virile.
Where were we?
Adam?
Uh,
It's coming up for 2 hours.
well,
Rather than...
there was that Facebook ban. There was actually Adam. Oh, there was something. I've had a few problems recently, guys, with flat Earth channels, and not necessarily on my phone, but you know when I'm on my computer, like live Martin Leakey the other night. That was it. Trying to watch his stuff, and it would not stream. I went to my phone; it's working fine, and I filmed it because it was like, what the fudge is going off? Gone to YouTube, Leak is there streaming. Open up another page. Go to YouTube. Open any other random channel. Works absolutely fine. Working fine on my phone, and
it's because he's in Wales, mate.
It's
like
not the first time it's happened.
Middle Earth.
Right. No. It was working fine on my phone, John.
Have you got a Welsh phone?
And every other channel was working fine on YouTube that I randomly clicked. Yeah, it's happened a number of times to flat earthy and alternative content. I just thought it was odd.
I do get the same with the spinning wheel.
I can assign no cause and effect. It's just a correlation.
I get the same with Owen Benjamin stuff. I download that and I try and play it on my laptop, and it just says file not recognised. Every other thing I could download using the same software works perfectly well. I worked out that it was them using illegal hashtags or spaces or question marks or stuff in their title that it wasn't picking up. But no, I do know what you mean, and it's not probably just paranoia. I think they're probably throttling the bandwidth of flat Earth channels. I mean, that's what I would do if I was the IT manager and I was told to censor these idiots talking about flat Earth. I would just throttle their channels so that their upload or download speed was minimal.
What I was saying is, it was working on one medium but not the other, and I think they're a little more subtle in their influence. But with that was the point. I was doing all that and I was getting a little bit paranoid, and then I think it was Josh. I'm not sure who posted the news article that Facebook was going to ban any sites related to flat Earth. They'd archived their shit, but that was it. Was it you, Josh?
Yeah, that was me.
That's your fault.
I figured anybody that bothered to read the story would obviously know that that's not like a legitimate story.
Bastard.
It wasn't written in such a way to make someone think that, that's a real hard-hitting piece. I better go back up on my stuff.
So you expected people to read more than just the title and go off in one?
Yes. Indeed.
Optimistic.
Well, it sort of relates to one's ability to research, or one's ability to eat a little bit of crow and say, whoa, kind of jumped the gun on that one. My bad. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have spoke that quickly without having read the actual story. I'm an idiot.
Who's having this portion of crow?
I don't know.
I got a little bit. No, because I did read it, and I thought, Yeah, I can believe that. And then when I said they were going to archive their stuff, so you didn't lose it. And I just thought, you know what? That's kind of the behaviour these cunts will seep to now. That they'll give you that little bit of appeasement that all your stuff, your history's there, but you're not allowed to talk about that. It just seemed semi-plausible. I thought it was quite good. Until
So
They
with
lost me with the
until Walt saved
650
me. Yeah.
billion.
So when she says, I'll get your flat earth pages and your little groups too.
Yeah. So because none of that is not commensurate with what we've just described with regards to YouTube, what we've noticed, what we have observed, and what is weird. Like again tonight, every single night when I post the IRM link, right, I always check it on my phone and on the computer that whatever time the show's coming up, it comes up on my phone. That stopped happening. It doesn't happen. There's all sorts of little subtle bits of shit they're doing. So like the fact, you know, when we post the notification that we're going to go live, and we finally get the thumbnail up there, you know what I mean? I always check it, and it always is there within a couple of minutes on both phone and PC, but not on PC anymore. It's very odd, mate. And I am subscribed to Iron Realm Media, so.
I had to resubscribe about a month ago. I was like, wow, you guys are doing bad. I'm part of Iron Realm Media and you're unsubscribing me from them. That's one of those I'm going to check, you know? I need to go back and check a bunch of stuff out.
Well, you see, I thought about that, Zach, because I thought, well, do I ever watch Iron Realm Media? But I'm sat here now, and for the majority of shows that I stream, it's also running live on my YouTube account on the PC, so I can read the chat. Do you know what I mean? And so even by their own algorithms, it's something I watch every Friday. Odd.
I'm not subscribed, bunch of shills.
Don't blame me. Oh, right. Gossip. Can I be a gossip?
Might as well. No one's listening.
Before you gossip, I want to say that once upon a time, I gave this guy a wrench because he seemed like a nice guy who happened to think the earth was flat. Not a big deal. He stopped thinking the earth was flat. Didn't make him any less of a nice guy in my book. Every encounter we've had has been absolutely amazing. Jose Gonzalez has a wrench, and some people were scratching their head wondering why Jose would have a wrench in our chat. It's because I didn't decide to take it away just because he stopped believing in the flat earth, because that wasn't why I gave it to him in the first place. So I didn't see any relevant reason to take it away.
I'm with you
just to
on
clear
that.
up any sort of confusion.
Well said, Josh.
I'll back that.
Shout out to Jose JG Gonzalez, a guy I've known for a long time, and as Josh says, just because somebody's opinions change doesn't mean the way you treat them should be any different. And as long as he's not like a dick like he is sometimes in Nathan's chat, then he's always welcome here, and he always affords us that level of respect and cordiality. So yeah.
I have plenty of people I know that are still ball earthers, ardent ball earthers, but like you say, if they're, and no, they are quite often dicks, but you give them a sort of semblance of tolerance to be a dick because they're still a baller, so it goes with the territory. But yeah, as long as they're not too much of a dick, then and they're still asking questions rather than telling you you're a dick, then yeah. I've got no problem with that.
Dick isn't disagreeing with what I was going to say shape of the earth, but with Nathan's kind of stuff, the nature of the earth as now shape with the semantic argument has become part of the challenge, hasn't it? So the nature of the earth. So somebody's opinion of that doesn't necessarily change who they are, surely. I wasn't a dick before I thought it was flat.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I was a right dick. I really was.
I certainly was.
I was no more of a dick.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with, yeah, I agree. Not about you, Josh, but myself.
And then one more thing before we get to your gossip, I did want to give a shout out to Jonathan from Jersey, Perceptions Talk Radio, who was in chat earlier. He managed to get me up and running with a fancy computer machine that will actually edit some video. So make sure you are subscribed to the channels. That way you can get the little notifications when we get new videos.
So
as
your
having some coming up.
Your PC came from Jonathan from New Jersey.
It did.
Ooh,
Yep.
Crank caller, crank. Bye.
Yeah, it's interesting. I bet you 80% of the phone calls I've had with Jonathan have had the little clicky noises you can hear. It sounds like the old time rotary phones where you can press the button down in the cradle and hear the click. It makes a pretty specific sound. And that's what it sounded like. It sounded like somebody taking their finger in the cradle and going click, 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 click.
It's the Enigma machine in the background. It's, I can just hear Jonathan giggling to himself now. I'd burn it with fire, by the way.
Yeah, there was strange issues with the shipping of it as well. Kind of like Douglas's book. When I got it, the tape job seemed a little shoddy for a box to have been shipped halfway across the country with just like the 3 little strips closing that flap, while everything else had this huge like seam of tape covering all the corners. No big deal until I open it up and pull it out, and the top of it has a dent. I didn't really think too much of it. It's a used computer. It's a secondhand computer. It's third hand, fourth hand at this point almost, because Jonathan used it, had it sitting at a buddy's house, just sitting there taking up space, nobody using it, and he sent it to me after putting in quite a bit of work and quite a few other little upgrades to it. So I didn't think too much of a big dent until I asked him about it. And he just kind of started to chuckle. He's like, well, what? No, there was not a dent. I'm not a scratch and dent kind of guy. If I'm going to send something to you, it's not going to be all smashed up like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
did he send a photo of it before it arrived? Does it look the same thing?
No, he did not. But he said that was definitely not there before he shipped it, because he would not have shipped it had it looked like that. He would have easily swapped out the case.
So the question is, whose case have you got?
So here's where this kind of breaks down. The box he shipped it to me was one of those boxes you can like buy from Home Depot. It's like a Home Depot box, and it measures 22 inches by 22 inches by 21.5 inches. So when he shipped the computer, he cut the box down to fit it a little better to 22 by 22 by 13. So I get the computer. It's all banged up, smashed up. I don't even think about saving the box or the packaging or anything like that and snapping a picture and filing a claim and trying to get a check. Didn't dawn on me. I try not to have a litigious bone in my body. But after I get it, they send him another invoice. After the shipping and handling and everything was paid, I received it. They billed him like another $5 saying, look, we measured your box. We did an audit on this particular package. And it turns out your measurements were off and your weight was off. The box, in fact, measured 24 inches by 23 inches by 13 inches. And instead of 56 pounds, we measured it at 41 pounds.
So you got a refund.
Well, he called them up and said, what is this all about? Because he still had the receipt from when he shipped it. And the guy at the UPS store took the package and weighed it on their scale at 36 pounds. So he shows her this receipt, says, look, you guys weighed it. How is this weight off? Said the box is a store-bought box. It's pre-dimensioned, right? It's universal. They're all 22 by 22 by 21 and a half when I cut it down to 13. You're not going to tell me that that was a 24-inch box by 23 inches, because that's just not how they make their boxes. That's just not how they size them. And I bought the box from Home Depot. And where in the hell did the extra 5 pounds come from? Did you tear your scale? Is your scale calibrated? Which one is wrong? You UPS weighed them both. How can you charge me when you screwed it up?
So
and then they offered to give him a refund, and there was an issue with it going through his PayPal or whatever. I don't know.
So they were trying to charge him extra.
Yep.
Holy shit. Just look how they tie us up in bureaucratic bullshit for days on end for no bloody reason whatsoever. This is a microcosm of my macrocosm of my heating. It's just bureaucratic bullshit. And because they can.
It's the color of bureaucracy that they're using. Oh, well, we ran an audit and it's this and this and this because we found that 80% of the people won't respond and will just pay the extra $5 or $10 or whatever it is. And the other 20% that would have put up a fight will just ignore it or refund them or do whatever and blow it off. But we can make a hell of a lot more by just trying to blow smoke up people's ass who don't have the common sense to think about the situation or the nerve to stand up to tell them no.
For the sake of $5, yeah.
John, I'm not IT savvy, but with regards to this weight change, do computers have fat days?
They can do. It can be FAT32 or NTFS.
You geek. You told me off.
How you format it. That's right.
It increases the gravity force, of course, if you format it with FAT32.
I'm not listening.
Good. I'm glad. No one else is either.
Yeah. What happens?
On the bright side, there is clear plexiglass on the side of the case, and I took a flashlight and I shined around up in there, and everything looked pretty basic. It's a computer. There's a motherboard and power source and graphics card, and there doesn't
hide a small bot or anything that's going to crawl out at night and.
No, nothing ticking, nothing smoking. Nothing strange. I don't know where the 5 pounds came from. Again, I doubt it was there at all. I think it's just their way of scamming $5 out of 80% of their customers.
It sounds about right to me because from my experience, 80% of the people are off their faces on pharmaceutical drugs and don't know whether they're coming or going most of the time. So to send them something like that, where they just have to sign something and go, oh, bloody hell, and then go moan at the neighbours about being charged £5. Yeah, I can see it. Good marketing plan.
I like patriotism. I like my country. I like going to school. School's good. School made me smarter. So I learned at school that the people in charge get to tell me what to do. So when UPS says they owe them $5, who am I to tell them no? I'll just pay the $5 because that's what they taught me to do in school. Just go along.
Absolutely. You see, this is why most of the cases that I take on are not monetary at all. They are principle based. Whether it's 5p, 50p, or whatever it is. Some bullshit parking fine or something. It doesn't matter how much it is, you just challenge them. And inevitably they'll buckle because they're standing on a foundation of sand.
Ooh! I was going to say I won. You don't get that saying you won. Smart ass, do you? But You know, when I was delivering those medicines to the hospital and I got a parking ticket, and I spent ages just slowly responding to this, that, and the other, engaging their time. And finally, we got to the end where the final response, I think it was something like, "We don't believe that the hospital manager has the authority to allow you to just turn up there." Something along those lines, basically to authorize you to deliver meds. And they're dealing with what they think is me, Adam Meakin, as the persona, the legal entity, because it's all in capital letters for some reason. I don't know why. And so I kind of thought, I'm kind of done here. So I've sent them a letter, an email, ages to them, the other company where they'd handed it on, the debt collection and the likes, saying that's fine. As we pointed out to you, this was a corporate issue, and we, company name, blah 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 blah, wish that if any future correspondence is to be engaged with company name, blah blah blah, and please no longer harass our employee, Mr. Adam Meakin. And I've not heard it since, John. It's been quite funny.
I think that's awesome. I mean, the sheer fact that they sold it on to a debt collecting company is music to the ears of anyone in debt. If whoever they're in debt to has sold it on to a debt collecting company, that debt collecting company has agreed to settle your debt, but they haven't agreed anything with you. And now they're coming after you to settle the debt that they settled. So, but in law, a debt settled is a debt settled. It's done. So as soon as they send it on, this is what happened with me with Barclays. As soon as they forwarded it onto and sold it to a debt collection company, that's curtains. That's thank you very much. That was really nice of you for settling my debt. I didn't ask you to, and you didn't ask me whether I wanted you to, but thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that. Goodbye.
It was kind of them, particularly as I, in law, hadn't even finished negotiating whether or not I was prepared to accept their
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, they jumped the gun, and
yeah.
I think debt collectors are getting a bit more savvy to this, and realizing, when you just say, "I'm sorry, who are you?" and "Thank you very much for settling my debt, but I have no business with you. Goodbye. Don't call me again. I'm noticing you now to never contact me again via post or any other means." And it really does work. They go away. They have to go away because in law they have no standing whatsoever.
Yeah. And don't stress it. A letter doesn't hurt you. A letter doesn't knock your door down. Do you know what I mean?
No, the bloody council will, though.
Yeah, well, make sure you read the letter, then. What it's saying. Do you know what I mean? I don't know that many legal letters, John, that use red ink to try and scare you. The most proper, real legal letters I've read have no red ink.
If it
or
has
any bold text, it's just written there plainly and simple.
If there's any red ink on it anywhere, then it deserves ripping up and thrown in the bin, or not even opening. And if it's not addressed to you, don't open it. If it's addressed to the occupier, unless that's the name you give yourself, which I don't imagine too many people call themselves the occupier, then that letter is not addressed to you, and it would actually be an offence to open it.
The occupier. That's a title.
But that's what you get on the voting register and stuff. It is an offence if you do not reply to this letter addressed to the occupier. Well, who the hell is he? I don't know. So it's going in the bin. Or she. Don't know. Anyway, we've gone way off course, and I'm probably way overdue. What are we? 2
Nothing
hours?
like a good bit of common law.
15. Oh, I'm so far out of it. Have been for 5 years. I used to be into this stuff on a daily basis, but it's been such a long time that hence I'm looking for the advice from solicitors, which
Slags. You
is
slag.
slag. Yeah, it's not good. And
Mate,
surprisingly enough, they didn't call me back today, so I've been walking around with a burning hot fondle slab in my pocket, and they didn't call me back. So anyway,
solicitors are useful.
Can be, yeah.
But they're very expensive. But so therefore you use them when you have to.
When you need a letter that needs weight, because what I'm finding out, as most people do, is that us common plebs, even if you have a master's degree in electrical engineering, if you're not registered as a competent person and paying the mafia 500 quid a year, then your master's degree in electrical engineering cannot even install or replace an old plug socket in their house without falling under the banner of being illegal. So
yeah, that's insane. I mean, they make you do certain things when you do like major construction here, but you're allowed to do quite a bit to your house. It sounds like over there that you can't even flush the toilet without permission.
almost, yeah, you almost need written permission off Her Majesty themselves to flush the toilet. But yeah, it is that bad. And once you let these guys into your house, they have free reign all over the place. They can point out shit and demand stuff and declare your house unsafe, and they have the powers to do all sorts of things, or at least they think they do. As putting that in practice, we shall find out, shan't we?
And with that,
Did you see how he got it over to plumbing? There's that. Did you notice that?
I didn't mention plumbing.
From common law to plumbing
I didn't mention plumbing.
No, Andy got me to make out like it was me that brought plumbing up.
You did. But speaking of plumbing, I won't.
I'll give you a bit of plumbing. Flat Earth plumbing.
It's also a miniature office on here.
That
Jaron, I'm pretty sure in the background.
I'm going to say that did sound like Jared, didn't it? You're getting more tech help, Zach.
right? Yeah, he's gonna put a new, a better graphics card in my computer.
Ooh, look at you, fancy pants.
Yeah, he got some crazy beefed up.
Always
insane
got to one up me.
It's not that big a style compared to the next time, but it's pretty big styles compared to what you already have.
He's awesome.
Like a really
Yeah, sorry
style
about
for
that,
my
guys.
computer right now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm pretty sure we were talking about plumbing just then.
Well, I was kind of trying to do
Flat Earth plumbing, yes, everyone is Flat Earth plumbing, whether they like it or not. Water finds its level.
One last bit to mention, that's what I was trying to crowbar in. And that was Nathan doing a bit of plumbing, because the certainly as guys that chat, we have Nathan's been doing a little bit of overlap with Ranty particularly, and I think it's probably more out of that than that, but out of it he's kind of produced a schedule that's out there that I think kindly means they won't be going up against us more than anything in terms of the schedule times, which is a bonus, or not. Doesn't really matter. Come Saturday morning, but I just thought it was quite a good idea, not necessarily for a small group, but to actually start that and to almost have it not like a TV Times, but I thought it was something I've heard muted numerous times over a number of years, but first time I've seen a spreadsheet, if you know what I mean. So
that's cool. Bit of organisation. I mean, this is what draws us apart from the Electric Universe lot, is that they obviously went through this years and years ago, probably in the 70s, and have gone through probably all the teething and infighting and bullshit arguing that our community has been going through in the last 5 years. But if we could get to the sort of level of organisation and cooperation that the Electric Universe guys have, then I think we would be well on our way. And I see no reason why our development in that region shouldn't be way accelerated, far more accelerated than the sort of slow progression of the Electric Universe. I think organisation is what we need.
Absolutely, John.
It's coming along.
It is. It's getting there, and we are young.
That's
Yeah.
how young we are. Yeah. Like you said, the Electric Universe had it since the 70s at least. And I suppose, I bet you that if you were to look underneath the hood there, that you'd probably find things aren't quite as well oiled as you might perceive them to be.
Oh,
Most places aren't.
without a doubt, they've had their massive ups and downs. It's almost a mirror image of what Flat Earth has gone through.
Is it? I don't know. No,
Yeah,
almost nothing.
they've had their shills, their trolls, their internal disagreements over very sort of minor but hugely major points. It's it mirrors what we're going through at the moment, but when you see where they are at the moment with their conferences and their publications and their the papers they're putting out and that sort of thing, and the cooperation they're going through, it reminds me of FE Core. And for anyone who's anti-FE Core, I don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me. I see what goes on there. I'm not integrated. I'm not a massive part of it, but I do see it flash in front on the screen, and I know those guys are ultra committed, and they're genuine, and you know, they're actually doing things and achieving things, and I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's huge. Especially, I mean, they're attempting to break world records in a lot of these things. And that gains, you know, some eyes when people see that. Just the words world record.
Yeah, they're attempting world records. They've created new measures of geopotential that have been accepted in the surveying world. They've patented or created mechanisms to GPS coordinate laser pointers. The salad, that's been has created interest from the military, as far as I know, which isn't a great thing, but it just shows that they are doing things. They're not so much interested in the day-to-day chit-chat of what's happening in Flat Earth, but believe me or not, they are doing things in the background that are genuine and really worthwhile, and every one of them is giving up their free time and energy and efforts to do this. Just the creation of that gyroscope by Stefan. I mean, it was
beautiful.
To be able to do that sort of precision engineering and turning things on a lathe and creating your own components and upgrading your own. I mean, that was just. I asked for it and it happened, and I am just in awe at what they are doing, have achieved, and will achieve in the future, and that's where I think the future is going. Though they're not very friendly to flat earthers, they are on a mission to discover what this earth is.
I wouldn't put it like that. They're not interested in the bullshit world of YouTube that we, ballers and flatters alike, that are there. They're not just no interest in that realm in terms of their energies. And I've seen what's been going off outside of that, because that gyro was wicked. And I remember we need to build one. We've got to build, back many, it must be 40, 50 years ago, at least.
Feels like a split second.
Yeah, maybe. Do you know, but I mean, you look at the stuff that they're achieving with, like, we've got a little bit of insight, haven't we? But what they're doing out there with the dishes and the transmission distances and the stuff I've seen there, and the professionalism in which they're approaching it.
It's blowing my head.
There is
just reading the chat, I can hardly keep up.
Yeah, but you can see from that chat that this bit of kit that we spent this much money, it's not good enough. It's not doing what we want. Let's achieve it like that. There's so much proper approach, and I think through a number of people, luckily there's funding there for them to be able to take this approach. That I love the fact that they don't give a shit about YouTube or bullshit, and they are just cracking on with stuff that YouTube and other stuff will in the future discuss.
I mean, even to the point where someone puts in, oh my God, guys, have you seen what they're saying about you lot here? And it's just like, fuck off. We don't care. We're not interested. Go away. We're talking equations with the word lambda in them. For Christ's sake. It's just... I mean, I'm just watching it. Half the time it goes way over my head, but it's just nice to see something happening and being done. I think it's brilliant.
How did we get there?
Yeah, it was needed, and some people stepped up to it.
Well, it's just the way that I mean, I follow the chat, and someone will say, something like, okay, well, what about a microwave transmission between here and here? And then someone's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll sort that. Right, what about these transmitters? Yeah, they look good, but are they available in Hungary? Can we get them shipped? Okay, we can get it. And it's just like...
Yeah, but you say that, John, but I think we all saw what lunch Mike had and what room Sandor lined up for him as well. I
on the 320 horsepower motorboat they got to play with, and lasers that can melt your face, and all sorts of stuff. But it's just, you often wonder, or I do, I often wondered how these things got organised and how they got from an idea to reality. And I'm seeing it in real time you know, in the flat Earth core, in the FE core, field engineer core, chat rooms, how these things develop, and it's not just a case of people throwing shit together and seeing if it sticks. These guys there's a lot of guys in there that are super qualified in areas that will make your brain bleed.
Hey, that was when they were over there doing the how did you describe Wi-Fi direct line of sight transmission stuff, and you saw this stuff when they were talking about the transmitters and receivers, and I was like, I was lost, John. I don't know about you, mate. I was out of my depth in terms of the detail that was being discussed and what, because you know Rob Durham was in there, and I think he was quite influential in stuff, and it was just, if I'm, you know, I'm quite happy to hold my hands up when I say that's above my pay grade. Do you know what I mean? In terms of knowledge, not necessarily comprehending what's going off, but the technical abilities, not the scientific understanding, but the technical abilities that were being shown, I thought was cool.
Yeah, I can't wait for this microwave test with the new
Microwave,
dish.
that's it. Thanks, Sal.
Yeah, they have more power now. They should be able to get it.
Oh, they've got bigger dishes as well, haven't they? But I mean, the fact that they can get permission to gain access to these dishes, and not even the dishes, but cranes to lift the dishes up onto the.
No, John, you've clearly not been reading the chat.
They didn't get the crane, no.
No, they didn't get the permission. Did you not see all the stuff?
Oh, I saw.
I think it was
no.
Sandor saying, "Yeah, if you're over here, don't ask for permission. It will take years and some money. Do it, and then deal with the consequences."
And
summation.
That is probably the major difference between there and the UK, is that we're so kowtowed to getting permissions and bits of paper and bureaucracy that nothing actually ever gets done, whereas over on the mainland, you know, they just do it and then retrospectively get it done, or they do it and they don't actually complete it, so that they need to get the certificate. You know, it's like this is why you see so many houses half built all around Europe, is because they know that they have to pay property taxes once the house is built. So if they don't fully build it, they don't start paying property taxes. And I wish we could take a leaf out of their book over here sometimes. I really do.
Yes, we do. So we did that in Italy. Knocked some shit down. It's really weird because it's not the amount of money you pay, not necessarily based on the value of the house. It's what they value the house at. So if you've got more footprint, then you'll pay more. But then the development, if it's not yet been a house, then it doesn't qualify. You know what I mean? It's not like here where they see that they'll charge you and force you to rip it down, sort of thing. So,
well, over here, if they just don't like the cut of your jib, or they don't like the look of you, they can decide to pursue a personal vendetta in grey areas of bullshit and destroy your family and leave you with no heating for the whole winter.
This is where we differ, John. You see, because you've dealt with it. I've always allowed the wife to deal with the building inspector.
Right, I never thought of pimping her out like that, but yeah,
I'm
maybe,
not saying
yeah, that could
deal
work.
with it like that. I mean, instead of, because I know what I'd be like. Do you know what I mean?
My building inspector's gay, by the way.
Whatever gets
I'm not on about coming on to it. I'm
Lay
on
your
about
pipe, John.
I'm on about being you or me. Do you know what I mean? I know that if I did it, anything they said, it was a slight, even half a disagreement in my head, I would be on it and discuss. Do you know what I mean? And
Well, this
I
is
think
why I keep everything to email, and then when it all goes tits up. Sorry.
You're dealing with like mini Nazis. Anything that allows them to enable power. Whereas my wife's a much better politician than me.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
wasn't
mine.
suggesting pimping her out.
No, I was being facetious. I know what you're saying, and I use the weapon as my wife as a weapon as well, because you know, after the installer was told, well, you know, I lose my patience, and after 50 times of telling him something, I then have to make it very blunt, and that comes across as quite rude sometimes, and he won't talk to me for 2 weeks. So I use my wife as a weapon to sort of email him and say, you know, I'm John's husband. Please forgive the savage, but you know, we'd like some heating this winter, and it's all in your hands. And then we get a reply, and then I come back in with the hobnail boots on again, and yeah, it's just a merry-go-round of bullshit, which is why I don't like dealing with any of these people at all, ever. I'm never hiring another person to do anything in my house again, ever.
I'm never even going to venture near this subject again.
You need to equip yourself with learning how to service a Porsche.
It's gone, mate.
If not, let me service your Porsche and pay me half of what you're paying the guys up the road.
You can have it. Come and get it. You can have it.
I'll pay you in Porsche.
Yeah.
I don't think I could afford the petrol to get out of Nottingham, mate.
Yeah, that's the trouble. You see, you'd look at the train fare to get there and you think, fucking hell, that's pricey. And then you look at what it costs you in petrol to get home and, oh, mate, honestly, it's...
It's getting worse, though, isn't it? Cool, this is a happy show. No, really, I must be buggering off. It's gone way past 2 hours now. 2.5. Oh my god. I should have fallen over long ago. On that note, I'm going to do a runner. It's been a fantastic show and great to talk to you guys again. Yeah. I'm preempting my ranting, raving, slurring, and falling asleep.
I was down to one eye, you know, like moving screens and stuff. I was down to one eye about half an hour ago, so shocking.
You've been taking too many of your own drugs, mate, by the sounds of it.
That was their mind.
Fair enough. And on that note, I'll go off and take my own drugs.
He can take them if he wants to.
Have a great rest of your night, John. Sleep well.
Sleep easy, guys, and I'll catch up with you throughout the week. Take it easy.
Love you guys.
All right, yep. Much love. And much love to Rob, who had to sneak off once the kids woke up and got to hustling and bustling, so he had to go be a dad or whatever. And a shout out to Walt, who had to go to the hospital to see his mom because I guess he wanted to be a son or whatever.
People lots of family.
So demanding, aren't they? Us.
But much love and positive thoughts and prayers out to Walt and his family, to his mom and to his brother and sister-in-law as well, and their parents, her parents, and his parents, because his mom's there. Because never mind. Zach, you got anything else? That was an awesome show on Globebusters, by the way, on last Sunday.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was fun.
I did finally manage to skip ahead to your part.
Yeah, they covered all kinds of stuff. With
My
electricity.
time is so limited, though. I really do want to go
Yeah.
back and listen to it because I did hear him covering some really cool stuff. So make sure you tune into the Glowbusters this Sunday. Sometime.
A lot of it was stuff he has covered before. He's just going back over it. You know, there's new people coming into it every day, and you got to kind of, you know, keep on these things. I was thinking about remaking a bunch of my old videos, electricity ones and perspective ones and stuff like that.
That'd be good. Now that you're gonna have a nice beefed up graphics card.
Yeah, and I have a computer to where I can just take it and redo it.
We'll get Sandra P900 Coolpix, P1000 Coolpix to give you a lesson in hit film. You get hit film on your computer. Then you learn video editing and
yeah, I have that in Premiere
graphics.
Pro. I love Adobe Premiere Pro. That stuff is, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning. I've been watching a lot of videos. I haven't taken up the nerve to actually do any editing. How weird is that? It's like
They
I'm like
have
the
some
dog that
training.
chases cars.
Have you
Right?
done the training things yet?
No. Well, training.
See, I was so right midweek.
I mean, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. There's so many tutorials out there. So I've been just sort of watching those and just trying to get my feel for it. But even just even attempting it, I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it. I don't know what it is.
Well,
It's real easy. They've done a great job making it user friendly.
They have, Zach, because Josh, hurry up, mate, because you need to teach me. So I can't wait for Josh to learn.
My son has taken a class. He's got experience. In fact, the company he's interning for now is having him do promo videos and stuff and editing with Premiere Pro. So it's not like I don't have even access to a whole database of my own, but I just don't take advantage. I don't know. It's like I'm hesitant. I really am because I tried this 5 years ago, whatever it was when we first started, when I really wanted to get into it, and I've gone through about a computer a year trying to upgrade until I could figure out how to get a computer that would run Adobe Audition and Adobe Premiere Pro. So now that I have it, I don't know what to do with it. I'm afraid to jump right in because I don't want to get obsessive and just neglect everything and show up late to work because I'm down here at 3:30.
Yeah, if you like video editing, that could happen.
That's what I'm afraid of because that's like really the only time, or when I'm awake when I should be doing ironworks. On the days I'm not doing ironworks, I could be down here editing video. But damn, I'm so worried.
Look up, it's like 9:30. Oh fuck!
Right.
I got the same with welding, Josh.
Yeah, when I first started a few years ago, I really enjoyed just trying to learn it, and I did. I just jumped right in and was playing and testing and manipulating things just to see what would happen and having a real good old time. I just couldn't ever render anything out to an actual video because I didn't have the graphics card. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'm going to probably be up by 4 a.m. because that's how I roll. And I set aside in my brain pan time tomorrow to jump in and get into it. So tutorials, you say? Huh.
Yeah.
Ask Adobe how to use their products, you say?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. They just,
interesting.
If you want to, they just take you step by step through and tell you where to click and show you where all the stuff is at, like just your main stuff. And then I didn't go through all the advanced stuff. I was like, okay, I got the basics. I'll get into that later.
Yeah, really, once I get my keyboard shortcuts down, I think I'm going to be set. Because so much of my editing is going to be stuff from our past shows. So I have to sift through like anywhere from 3 to 5 hours of content and, strip away 70% of it. If I'm lucky, 90% of it likely, just to pull out a few of the real gems that we managed to extract on a weekly basis. But even still, just being able to get that keyboard shortcut and just go cut, 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 cut,
Yeah.
delete, ripple delete, throw
Yeah,
in
all
your
that stuff's
transitions.
really easy. Yeah.
I think it should be quick. My goal is to get 2 videos edited a week. If I can do an old show and the current week's the past week's show, both edited down for time and content, then I think I'll be doing really good. 2 shows a week, get me caught up, and eventually someday I'll be able to go through our 4 years of content.
I was going to say that's a bold statement, Mr. Corey. That's
Well, look, I've tried to get people to go back and watch. John Savage watches the show every week. He'll go back and he watches it. And I've asked him, just take down your time codes. When you hear something relevant, funny, interesting, when you hear one of those little gems, just write down the time. Those are the things that I can store as a text file so that one day when I do start to edit, it would save me so much time of having to go back and listen to 5 hours at 2.5 times speed, hoping to pull stuff out.
yeah. It'll take some poor bloke through plumbing codes, won't he? When he turns up at his house, but oh yeah.
And to be fair, he isn't really in a position to be stopping and writing down and doing things when he's going back and listening to the show. So it's not like I fault him. It's not like I blame him. In his position, I sure as shit wouldn't be doing it either. But it's just those little things that, look, yeah, I'm really worried that I'm going to try to get those 2 videos done, and pretty soon I'm like, well, shit, I could probably sneak a third in there. Now I'm eating up all my family time and time with the wife down here. I could get 4. You know what? If I could really work hard, I could probably sneak 5 videos in. And I'll just have to do that for 2 years to finally get caught up.
So what are we going to do, Josh? Are we able to get rid of Clipio and videos and all that sort of stuff? Or
I mean, we can. It's those we don't really need to, though, because there's no recurring fee. So since money's paid, then there's no sense in getting rid of them. But the limitations that both of those have are negated, I guess, with a computer that will actually run programs that can do the same thing.
Well,
programs like Premiere Pro, programs like After Effects.
Don't let Quantum Eraser find out, because I've done that I said I've done that work on Clipio, it was, I think, mostly. So that'll be coming out on the Quantum Erasers channel, which I think it's about the 17th of September, week after next, which I've got an invite to. I'm told I've got to turn up, otherwise John shouts at you. And it's easier to turn up. But yeah, so that'll be a bit of Iron Realm editing work, mate, there, and his OBS screens and his intros. That's what we've done with. Because I was going to ramble on to you on Wednesday about it, but what the hell, I'll do it now.
And that's how we've always envisioned ourselves, as a sort of multimedia little group here. That's why we had media in the title, because we didn't plan on just being a show. We didn't just plan on being one thing. We had plans on being able to do multiple things. I mean, the crew that we had when we first decided to try to do something, there's like 15, 18, 20 people back then. And such a diverse group that, we really had the capabilities to do all that. The trouble is, when the metal hits the meat, not everybody's quite as willing to walk the walk to back up the talk that they've been talking. So sometimes people fall behind and get in the wayside, and people just sort of disappear, and pretty soon you're sort of limited as to the things you can do, but damn it, we're going to learn. So we'll just do a show on YouTube and we'll just learn everything else and try to get it all done regardless.
So we're getting a portfolio, mate. We've got our show. We set Arwin up. Ranty, all of his graphics I did all those graphics. We're getting there, mate. We're doing what we set out to do, which is facilitate, you know what I mean, through those different bits of shit.
And I really want to get a blog up on our website. I think the Ironworks show needs one desperately. With as much space lettuce as we go through, it would be nice to be able to share in one location the stories that we discuss so that people can then go back and look at the stories and just say, oh, what was that one thing they were talking about? And you can just go back and scroll through the blog posts and see the stories that we actually talked about on the air. I know Walt has been toying with the idea of maybe writing a little piece here and there. So that would give him a platform and a place to do that as well. Pardon me as I burp into the microphone. I don't know. We still have a lot of potential. And it's super frustrating for me because I have to earn these life credits. So I got to show up and come home, and damn it if I still got other things to do. Like a yard with my backyard at least is 3 weeks from needing to be cut. So I still have things going by the wayside. But I don't know. I'm confident in once I get a workflow down and editing and I get that stuff caught up, I think we can really start expanding in the way that we envisioned all those years ago.
Nice to know what crap we were rambling on about back in the day, mate. What must be 34, 35 years ago in John's time scale.
Yeah, it's been quite the roller coaster ride way back from the days on Hangouts. That was good stuff. Then
you can see how that poor girl reckoned, you know, that quantum mechanics class reckoned it was hundreds of years that they had known these things, because she was obviously in John's. I can't wait to get the results of that. How long? That was a really short pregnant pause. That was had no weight to it, did it? It was in like weren't even a pregnant pause.
I will say that it was probably longer than a second, but definitely so short that it didn't merit the reaction of, well, we'll just call the show because I guess that's everything.
I weren't pregnant, mate. That was a late period at best.
There you go.
A late period pause.
Yeah.
Well, gents, have you got anything else?
One thing, Romania. There is a convention, Flat Earth convention in Romania, October 5th. I did not know about it. I was invited to it, but I can't go to Romania now with all the stuff going on here. But yeah, there's a Flat Earth convention in Romania, October 5th. If you just type in Flat Earth Romanian conference, all the stuff will pop up.
Should send their email to Jason, because it'll be, I would imagine by the time they get into Romania, it'll be past October the 5th, because they'll come down and then they're coming round. Ranty's coming back up through Croatia and the likes to me, and I'm there at the end of October, beginning of November. So it'll be a bit later, but it'll be worth seeing if they can meet up, won't it? It'll be.
Oh yeah, they would know the crowd. Yeah, I'll have to do that.
I think that's great.
But yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. I'm spent.
I probably have other things I should be saying, but I'm not. I don't remember. I'm pretty spent as well. All right then, fellas. It's been an absolute joy. Thank you, everybody in chat. Thank you, everybody who listened live. Thank you to everybody listening back after the fact. We do appreciate it. We look
Love
forward
y'all.
to seeing you right back here next week for another episode of Have No Sphere. We have no idea what's in store. I guess maybe I'll have to look into figuring something out at some point. Put that on my to-do list. Awesome.
It's getting bigger, Josh. I'll say good night, everyone. Yeah. God bless. I'll see you all soon.
All right. Love you, Adam. Sleep well. Have a good weekend and give your best to the fam.
Absolutely. Love you, Adam.
Well,